Testing. Alright, we should be live. Hello everyone, welcome along to the coverage here in Sao Paulo. We are 1 hour and, 4 minutes away from the start of the race. And, we've had a really exciting weekend so far, and hope to keep that going, really. We're going to have around 71 laps of racing around here in Interlagos. It will be a very exciting race indeed. And yeah, okay. So we'll run through. Well, there's quite a few things to talk about. The one thing that I do want to talk about, actually, that I didn't really talk about much yesterday, was Gabriel Bortoletto's crash. You can see here, this was the wreckage of his car as soon as his crash he'd just come to a stop, and oh my goodness me, just look at the amount of total destruction that happened to his car. And then his mechanics and his engineers managed to repair all of that in the space of around 3 hours, and they were about 5 minutes too late. If they had an extra 5 minutes, they would have been able to get the car out onto the circuit. But I mean, this crash looks like at the start of the Cars movie, not at the start of the Cars movie, the end of the Cars movie, where the King crashes the blue car. It looks very similar to that sort of crash, and it's sort of mind-blowing that they managed to repair that in 3 hours' time. You've got this is sort of an action shot here while the crash is actually happening. You can just see debris everywhere, carbon fiber everywhere, all shredded into pieces. And, it's just really incredible that the mechanics can actually get it turned around so quickly and get the cars repaired. That was Gabriel Bortoletto. It was a 57G crash, actually. That was even bigger than Max Verstappen's crash in Silverstone. He barely scraped off any sort of speed, so he was going down in towards turn number 1, and he was on the dry racing line, but trying to make an overtake on one of the Alpines, was it one of the Alpines? He was trying to make an overtake on someone, and he went off the racing line onto the wet part, and that the DRS was shutting at that point. He was getting onto the brakes, and he just moved offline. The track also falls away a little bit, and all of these combination of factors meant that he had absolutely no braking performance. The rear of the car just slid out from underneath him, bounces over a curb, a little bit airborne, and then smashes into a barrier. But it was a very quick recovery for Bortoletto. Unfortunately, didn't get to set a lap time yesterday, but we'll see what he can do starting from the back of the pack. He won't be starting all the way from the back. Of course, we will be having Max Verstappen, and there is another driver as well. I think it is Esteban Ocon. Yes, Max Verstappen and Esteban Ocon are both starting from the pit lane. Max is taking an entirely new engine. Every single component, battery, control electronics, internal combustion engine, turbocharger, exhaust system, you name it, and Max has got a new one on his car. They've literally put a brand new RB21 together overnight to get Max, hopefully, back in the fight for the championship. It's going to be a very big uphill battle for today's race. The forecast. Let's quickly talk about the weather and the rain situation. This was the Porsche Super Cup. So you can see here that there very clearly is a dry line that is forming, and there is not much spray whatsoever over the circuit. So prior to this, 3 hours before this image was taken, or maybe 2 hours before this image was taken, it was raining in Interlagos, and there was a lot of water on the circuit. And it would have been an intermediate race if it were to stay on and continue that way. However, the rain clouds did stop, and we got the Porsche Super Cup going out. We got, I think, Brazilian Formula 4 also go around, and the spray got less and less, and the circuit started to dry up. Okay. So that's the current weather forecast. We'll see if anything changes, but that's what it was right now. We've got a drying up circuit. New F1 technology is amazing. If it was the 1960s, it may not be with us. Yeah, I mean, of course, in the 1960s, the car were much slower. The drivers would get on the brakes way, 200, 300 meters before the corner. But that is still correct, yes. With such a big impact in the 1960s, that would not have happened. Tyre strategy. Well, if it stays dry, which will be a very big if, we have got many different strategies here from Pirelli. Wait, let me just adjust this. There we go. 5 different strategies. You can start out on the softs, then go on to the mediums, or you could do the 2-stop soft, medium, medium, or soft, medium, soft, or the softs and the hards, and then the mediums and the hards. So Pirelli have pretty much given out loads of different options for what the teams can do today. And yeah, that was... We'll see which strategy gets used. Most likely, it depends on track temperature. Again, as I've said quite often this weekend, I've been talking about track temperature quite a lot. But at the end of the day, if it is 60 degrees Celsius, then we're probably going to see a 2-stop. If it's a bit lower, then the drivers could get away with a 1-stop strategy. Of course, in yesterday's race, we saw a 23-lap race with drivers... Well, none of them actually used the exact same set of tyres because we had the red flag in the middle and the drivers got a free tyre change without any loss in lap time. But most drivers who did start the race out on the softs were hoping to go right till the end, which meant that they could have stretched out 23 laps on a set of soft tyres, which is around about Pirelli expected that. You can see on strategy number 2 there, 18 laps to 24 laps is the pit stop window for the soft tyres. So it seems reasonable to me that the 2-stop strategy is the 2-stop strategy is definitely going to work. The question is it going to be quicker than the 1-stop? What are your predictions today? Can Max go from pit lane to the win or the podium? Well, look, the way that I sort of see it here from Max Verstappen is he's either going to go all the way and make a huge amount of progress and potentially get up onto the podium, or the Red Bull car is just not going to be quick whatsoever and he's going to maybe finish in like 8th position, 9th position. I don't think that we're going to see much in between. I don't think he's going to get stuck right at the back of the pack in like 15th or 16th or anything like that. I think Red Bull know how to set up a car. Clearly yesterday they went on the total opposite direction. In fact, I have a clip from Max Verstappen talking about what he sort of thought from yesterday's qualifying, which I'll play very, very shortly. But essentially, yes, they went with the wrong direction on their setup, and well, the car was clearly not drivable. And the reason why we say that Max didn't have a bad lap and it was the car's fault, it's because you can see the gap between Verstappen and Tsunoda is 0.3 of a second. It's pretty typical that the gap between Verstappen and Tsunoda varies between 0.3 of a second to about 0.6 of a second. That's sort of on the margin of what we see between Verstappen and Tsunoda, very much on the margin of what we saw between Verstappen and Perez as well. So, if Verstappen had set a lap time that was identical to Tsunoda, I'd say fair enough. Yeah, Max did set a bad lap, but, it was sort of clear to see that even he was 0.3 quicker than Tsunoda, but still nowhere near. And Tsunoda was the slowest car on the grid, which we haven't seen in a while. Tsunoda is slow compared to Max Verstappen, but most of the time he'll make it out of Q1, get eliminated in Q2. But slowest car on the grid is really unexpected. Yeah, let's see though what will happen. We'll carry on running through this. You can see the drivers lose approximately 20 seconds when they drive through the pit lane in green flag conditions. Only 12 seconds lost under safety car or VSC. So that's what you want to be looking out for in terms of the pit stop gaps. And yeah, the pit lane is quite long around here, but only half of the pit lane is actually under the speed limit. The other half you can just drive around as quick as you want. All right. Let's see. What else have we got going on? Oh yes, the race pace simulation. You can see here that the Red Bull, when they did their race pace simulation on their all of this data is from the sprint race. So looking at looking at the pace during the sprint race, Red Bull were not that far off the McLarens, only a 1/10.5. And then they obviously changed their setup after the sprint race before qualifying, and well, they both got eliminated out of Q1. Also, folks, interesting statistic here, Mercedes has never had both cars get eliminated in Q1. That's quite the interesting stat, isn't it? Because all of the other teams have up until this point. I think Red Bull maybe have had it happen in the past before, but this may have been one of the first times as well. I'm not sure on that one. But 16th and 19th place for them. But Mercedes, as a Formula 1 team, have never had both drivers eliminated out of Q3. That is partially, of course, down to the fact that Valtteri Bottas has 103 consecutive Q3 appearances with the Mercedes team, which is a mind-blowing stat in of itself. But yeah, I'm sure a very big reason reason why Mercedes don't have double Q1 eliminations is because, yeah, Bottas was always making it through into Q3. All right. F1 Gamer, we hope for Yuki to match Max's pace, but not in this way. Yeah, Yuki himself was saying, I think I'm within Max's pace, and I'm getting closer and closer to him. And well, things have turned out. It is getting closer, but yeah, not in the way that they would have hoped for. Oh, Remy, thanks for the stat there. The last double Q1 elimination for Red Bull before yesterday was 2006. 2006. That is mental. What's that? 19 years ago was the last time both Red Bulls got eliminated at a Q1. Okay. We are also going to be getting the drivers coming out onto the circuit shortly, so the pit lane will open, the drivers will drive around the track, and they'll get a little bit of information on the circuit and things like that. Okay, my top three. Ooh, that's a tough one, isn't it? Okay, well, I think Norris is going to be in the top three. His form's just a little bit too good to sort of count him out of not being in the top three. However, I would say that Piastri is going to get it up onto the podium. He's sort of got to, really, in the situation that he's currently in. And then Leclerc, I think. I think Leclerc will also do something. I'm not sure about Antonelli's pace. It was pretty good yesterday, but I don't know about how the Mercedes will handle its tyres in the long run. Okay. Imagine some safety car shenanigans and Max and some Max magic. Well, we can always hope. The safety car chance is pretty high around here, actually, in Interlagos. Let's where is the stat gone? Yeah, 86% chance of safety car in the last 7 races. So we've had safety car 6 times in the last 7 years, and a VSC 4 times out of the last 7 years. So pretty good chances, actually, for a safety car, and well, who knows what will happen. Okay. Is it raining? Max probably has a wet setup. Well, the team is free to change their setup even right now, you know, like they're not locked down into picking a setup and they can't change it for the next 50 minutes. If the forecast updates in the next 50 minutes and it sort of indicates that, oh yes, it's going to be loads of rain, then they'll change the setup. But as of right now, the forecast is not indicating a high chance of rain. All right. Let's see then. Let's continue on with the other things. So the other thing that I do want to talk about is who has what tyres. You can see here that Oscar Piastri has got no fresh sets of soft tyres, neither has Lando Norris. Hamilton and Verstappen do, though, have fresh sets of softs. Of course, Verstappen does after not making it into Q2 and Q3. So in terms of on the strategy side of things, you know, if you look at the strategy, Max is much more likely to do a soft, medium, soft strategy where he can be super aggressive on the soft tyres and attack and make loads of overtakes happen because he has those fresh sets of softs, whereas, you know, maybe Piastri, who is going to need to make some overtakes on Leclerc and Antonelli, is going to have a bit more of a tougher time because he doesn't have those fresh sets of soft tyres. Captain Krem, thanks for joining the channel membership. Very much is appreciated. Will this be the first time that Max finishes outside the points? No, Max has finished outside the points before. This season, however, I don't know. And also, Max probably will make it back up into the points, given how the pace is. Didn't Piastri end the race quickly yesterday so he can save up on softs? Yeah, I guess that could have been a big brain strategy there from Piastri, but no, he's only got one fresh set of medium tyres and one used set of medium tyres, no fresh sets of softs, but he'll have to make do, really. Those soft tyres will have only done maybe 1 or 2 laps during qualifying, or 1 or 2 flying laps during qualifying, so he should be able to get away with them in terms of using them during the race. All right. Any rain update? Unfortunately not, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, there is not much rain to be seen. I shall double check the forecast and things, but yes, everyone's been asking about that. That's all of the talk that we normally get around Interlagos because the weather is just so unpredictable all of the time. But unfortunately, the forecast, which we would have hoped for, of huge thunderstorms, is no longer the case. We did have a little bit of rain. Look, I'll show you the image. We did have. So this was 2 hours post rain. And you can see the circuit really sort of drying up there. There's no spray coming off these Porsche cars. And there was Brazilian Formula 4 that happened at Interlagos as well a little bit earlier on. There was a lot more spray then, but the track has really started to dry up. It was raining. Must have been 5 hours ago. It rained for at least 1 hour continuously, and then the rain stopped. So, a bit unfortunate there, to be honest. Yeah. Okay. Also, I have got a little clip up here from Max Verstappen talking about, what he thought about the race and what he thought about qualifying. So I shall get that up. Let me firstly put this into race mode, and then we shall. All right, let me get the clip up. Where is it? Okay, so just have a listen to this. This is what Max thought, and this is what he said after qualifying, and yeah. Have a listen.
Yeah, tough day. I mean, tried to make it better, but didn't work. Very tough qualifying where, we just didn't seem to find the grip in the car, and just not a good feeling. So then, you can't push. It's unpredictable. You're driving under it a little bit as well. So, just not what we wanted, of course. And a few things, of course, to look into overnight to try and find a better compromise for tomorrow.
Yeah, so that's essentially what Max said, right? And what he was basically getting at was when they made the setup changes with the car, he wasn't confident with it, and he couldn't predict what's going to happen, because when these drivers are driving, at the limit of grip at this 200 miles per hour, 100 miles per hour, what that means is that they cannot be reactive to the situation. Sometimes if there's a bit of oversteer, they can correct it then. But when they're going into the corner 2 seconds in advance, they need to know, I'm going to brake at this point. I'm going to turn the steering wheel this much. I'm going to press on the throttle this much, and the car will stick. It will grip up. However, when they did make those setup changes, Max Verstappen didn't have any sort of accurate prediction on what's going to happen. So what he had to do was, to be on the safe side, I'm not going to jam it onto the throttle as hard as I think I should, because I don't want the car to spin out. And, when you don't have the confidence, you have to be very much reactive to what's going on. And if you feel the car slide out, then you have to immediately get off the power. And it's just not as quick, essentially. Like, if you have full confidence in the car and you know what it's going to do, in that situation, you can go drive all the way to the limit. And then the other problem that he had was the car wasn't turning in the middle sector. And to combat understeer, what you can try and do is turn the steering wheel more to, hopefully the car will sort of grip up and it will rotate around the corner. But the problem that he was then having was he would turn the steering wheel more, and then the rear of the car would start getting loose. So it would be very much like that old clip of the Ferrari where Fernando Alonso was driving it, where it would understeer and oversteer at the same time. That's sort of the problem that he was getting in the middle sector, because the setup was just totally wrong. Now, he's going to be starting from the pit lane. You can see there he is there in 19th position, starting ahead of Esteban Ocon, but both of them will be starting from the pits. Bortoleto will be the last driver that is actually on the grid. You can see track temperature there is 31 degrees Celsius, which is, if I remember correctly, one of the lowest temperatures we've seen all weekend. I think we did have a momentary dip down into 27, 28, but the track temperature is 30 degrees, air temperature is 18 degrees, and rain is zero rain, ladies and gentlemen. As of right now, a little bit later on, maybe we might, but as of right now, unlikely. Okay, I will double check the forecast, but it's Interlagos weather. I checked and it says 20%. It's been saying 20% since yesterday. It is what it is. We'll keep an eye on the rain clouds. That's the much more important thing, to be honest. See what the clouds are doing rather than looking at the forecast. Also, folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It goes a long way to helping out the channel. Hopefully, we can make our way towards 1,000, maybe even 2,000 likes before the stream gets underway. And before the race gets underway, sorry. The stream is already underway, clearly. Yeah. Well, how'd y'all keep P5? Well, that car is looking really good, actually. We had the Astons looking quick during sprint quali, but clearly their pace was very sort of short-lived and they couldn't hold that pace consistently. And Hadjar and Lawson, both of them improved and they went up in the standings, so that was good to see from them. But yeah, I don't know if they'll be able to hold that pace, to be honest, because if I do bring up the race pace simulation data, this is not always the most accurate thing in the world, but it is the data that was gathered during the sprint race. And you can see Racing Bulls there, they were slower than the Astons during the sprint, so maybe Alonso will catch back up, maybe not, but their pace is 8/10 off the McLarens and the Ferraris or so, who they're racing against. But they're not that much quicker or slower. You can see the back of the pack there. Racing Bulls, Alpine, Williams, Haas and Kick Sauber within 0.5 of each other. Like, that is how close the midfield is at this point. Normally, Alpine is a little bit ways back compared to everyone else, but for whatever reason, this weekend, Pierre Gasly has found boatloads of pace in that Alpine, which is a boat, and yeah, he's done a pretty good job, actually. He, in fact, scored a point during the sprint. Okay, why is Max 19th? Because he's starting from the pits. All right, I'm going to have to put that up on screen because we are definitely going to get a lot of questions about that. Max starts from pits, brackets, new engine plus setup. Yeah, Max has taken an entirely new engine. Like, he will be running in party mode in that engine, to be honest with you guys, because fresh engine, fresh turbocharger, fresh battery, fresh everything, literally. Exhaust system as well. The exhaust has really not got much going on. It's literally just a tube that takes it to the back of the car. There's probably a few little other things there, but yeah, fresh exhaust system, because why not? I'm starting from the pit lane anyway. The track is damp. That is correct, folks. The track is damp. It is not, however, raining, and it is not, definitely not, intermediate tyre conditions. The drivers may even go out on their reconnaissance laps on intermediate tyres, but it is definitely not intermediate conditions. Yeah. Okay, let me get rid of that. There we go. All right, we'll have 71 laps of racing around here, and most likely it's going to be a two-stop strategy. So let's... oh, there we go. Max Verstappen. Is that Max Verstappen? I think it is, actually. Yeah, they're going to send him out first, make sure that all of the changes that they made overnight actually work on the car, and he's got a car that actually functions during the race rather than a car that's going to break down immediately. Because, of course, when you do change the entire engine, you've got to make sure that your hydraulics and everything are in good condition and everything else that is related. All right. What camera do I use? I use an OBSBot something. I don't know. It's some webcam. It's the cheapest one I think they had on their website. OBSBot, OBSBOT webcam. Yeah. So let's see. Am I late? Can you tell me the weather? The weather is dry, unfortunately. Damp circuit, but dry weather. Okay, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. Give me a sec. Okay. A few other things to talk about now, ladies and gents. Is Williams' lack of pace, actually. I would have expected Williams to be quite good around here, where, you know, you have got quite a few long straights, and the Williams aren't too bad in terms of the slow speed corners as well, but Albon and Sainz not having the best of weekends, and especially Sainz, actually, didn't have the greatest sprint quali either, but we'll see if they can make some more progress. And to be honest, they might just get stuck in a Fernando Alonso train. We've seen quite often now that Alonso creates these DRS trains behind him because, you know, his qualifying performances are always brilliant because, well, he is Fernando Alonso and he's got so much experience in the cars. But when it comes to race pace, the Aston Martin can't really deliver. So we'll see if that changes this weekend, or if we're going to get another DRS train behind Fernando Alonso. I'm generally going to have to make this pretty big, actually, because there are loads of messages in the chat. Let's put that down there because it's right next to Max's name. Okay. So, yeah, we got drivers coming out onto the track. They're out on slicks, by the way. The circuit was ever so slightly damp. Another thing to look at is that we're going to have lots of track evolution. Given that we had rain yesterday, it also means that we will have... all of the rubber that did get deposited yesterday has now been, well, removed from the racetrack. So we'll get, once again, a very green circuit and a circuit that's going to get quicker and quicker as the laps go by. All right, but yeah, Max's car looks all right, no sort of problems there, and we've got Tsunoda and, well, nearly everyone else coming out onto the circuit as well to do their laps. What are your probability figures for a DNF? Is it an accident or an engine issues? I don't think Max is going to have any sort of engine issues, to be honest, given that he's got a new Honda power unit. Crashes, of course, who knows? Sam Taylor, thanks for the $5 donation. Appreciate your time and effort, Larry Montoya. Thank you. No problems, buddy. Really do appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Okay. The other thing that I do want to talk about is Bortoletto's crash. Bortoletto is okay. He did have a 57G crash. It was one of the biggest crashes that we've seen in a while. But wait. Is this the current on board, or is this a replay from before? Because I've just seen raindrops in the camera. I cannot tell. It seems like it is the current things that are going on, and I just saw some raindrops on some camera. Let me know, guys. Did you also see the raindrops, or was it sweat? From George Russell's helmet? I'm not sure. Either way, we are 37 minutes away from the start of the race, and the drivers are lapping around the circuit, just doing their reconnaissance laps. Now, I can see more. This is the drone shot now over the pit lane, and there's more drops on the camera. The clouds are also looking rather grey and dark. So, interesting. Let's see how it goes. The FIA have still declared that it is not raining, and we're not going to have any sort of wet tyre conditions. We did have a little lock-up, though, from Lewis Hamilton in that Ferrari on his reconnaissance lap. Yeah, other people can see drops in the cameras as well. We are checking. It's looking quite windy as well. Good news, maybe. Good news for some. Good news, maybe bad news for others. There's no team radios coming through, folks. The team radios only start about 10 or 15 minutes before the start of the race. Why are they moving now? So all of the cars get stored in the pit lane overnight, and then the race starts from, of course, the starting grid. Oh my god, these clouds do look very grey, and I see more raindrops here. Wait, more raindrops. This is now the Racing Bulls on board. This is Isaac Hadjar's on board, I think. Or it's either Liam Lawson's. It's one of the two, but there are more raindrops on the camera. So essentially what's happening is... yeah, the cars are stored in the pit lane overnight, and the race starts on the starting grid. So the drivers get an opportunity for around 15 minutes or so to just drive around the circuit, get used to the circuit again, a little bit of practice, shall we say, before the start of the race. The engineers also use this to calibrate their clutches. They can do some practice race starts on from the pit lane. There you can see Charles Leclerc and Fernando Alonso both starting there from the end of the pit lane, and they're doing their practice starts, letting out the clutches and seeing if their clutch settings are still correct. So that's essentially what the drivers are doing right now, and they will find themselves lined up on the starting grid in approximately, I'd say, 5 to 10 minutes time. Why is there a pit lane start for Max? Because he was so slow yesterday and the setup was so wrong yesterday that they decided it makes a lot more sense to just start from the pit lane and take a brand new engine. Yeah. So normally, if you take a brand new engine and you don't change your setup, you'll just start from the back of the grid. However, Max has taken a brand new engine and also changed the setup. And the rules say if you change your setup after qualifying, you have to start from the pits. So that's why Max is starting from the pit lane. Is Yuki getting a new setup? No, he's not. So clearly, well, I don't know. I don't know why Yuki hasn't got a new setup. If the setup was wrong for Max, they probably also have the wrong setup for Yuki. So I don't know. Yeah, we've got another... Bortoletto is giving an interview here, and we have got more raindrops on the camera. Okay, well, there might be little bits of drops of rain here and there. It's still not significant enough right now. Those grooves they cut into the track are crazy. Well, the grooves that they've cut into the track, for any of you folks that haven't seen, on some of the curbs around the circuit, what they've done is cut some grooves to channel the water away from the curbs. Now, from our perspective, we would think, the drivers should stay away from the curbs. It's a skill problem, and they've got to stay away from the curbs and make sure not to crash. But from a safety perspective as well, we saw what happened yesterday. 3 drivers crashing at the same corner, and it all happened within the space of about 20, 30 seconds. So let's just imagine in this scenario, Piastri crashes, he gets out of the car. 20 seconds later, Colapinto also crashes, and they both crash into, Colapinto's car goes directly into Piastri's car. Not the safest thing in the world. And that is why these grooves have been cut in some of the curbs to avoid, multiple drivers crashing. And also, I've just seen more raindrops all over the camera at turn 12 turn 12, turn 13. So this top right sort of area of the track map looks like there's quite the few drops of rain. Also, the drivers are getting cut off there. Let me just adjust that to make sure that they don't get cut off the edge of the screen. There we go. Shalom, thanks for joining the channel. Membership very much is appreciated there. It is sprinkling, shall we say. Sprinkling drops of rain. Yeah, so it looks like the rain is coming. Yeah, you can see actually from the map here as well. The wind is coming from the northern direction, so it's blowing down onto the circuit. Turn 12, turn 13, they're around about the parts where the rain clouds currently are, and they're blowing down and across sort of the circuit. So we'll see what happens. All right. Ooh, Verstappen just coming over just for information, this engine vibrates a lot less. Something to look at for sure. This engine vibrates a lot less. Just to be clear, a lot less. Not it's vibrating a lot. So that's probably a good sign. Something is better in this engine if it's got less vibrations. Then they can run it in party mode. Charles Leclerc also locks up, actually. I don't know if that was a replay. If that's a mistake, it's clearly a mistake in terms of locking up, but I think Hamilton either locked up as well, or maybe they're just showing the replay of Charles Leclerc locking up earlier, but he did lock up going through turns number 10, and that is where he locked up during his quali lap in sprint quali as well, so Leclerc making the same mistake at the same corner. Do you think Max Verstappen has a chance to do P19 to P1? Well, look, if it rains, and last year is anything to go by, certainly so. I do think Max will have a chance at it. If it doesn't rain, however, I'm not so sure. He can turn the engine up into party mode, and he can, try a lot of different things like that. But I don't know how much that will help him in terms of the McLarens just being so quick. Because let's say nobody challenges Lando Norris, like what happened in Mexico last 2 weekends ago. Lando Norris drove off into the sunset. At a certain point, he was 27 seconds into the lead, and nobody was close to competing with him. If something like that happens again, then it's unlikely that Max is going to go all the way up into P1. But who knows? There's a very small chance of level 4 rain. Interesting. I mean, are you a McLaren engineer? Because I don't know what level 4 rain means, to be honest. But there are drops here and there. We've seen it on a few cameras as well, and we've seen it on a few T-cams, like on top of the driver's perspective. All right, you know what I'll do? I'll take you through a flying lap of the circuit. So let me get rid of that and turn on the flying lap of the circuit. I should probably also move this timer over here. All right, flying lap, here we go. Right, so turn number 12 here. This is where we saw a lot of the rain arriving, but it's going to be coming over from another side of the circuit. Pit lane exit is closed, by the way, now, so Verstappen and Ocon confirmed to be starting from the pits. Can they change anything after the reconnaissance laps? I think they can, yeah. Well, Max and Ocon can change whatever they want after the reconnaissance laps, and all of the other drivers, they can change tyre pressures, and they can change front wing angle, and that's it. Okay, going down in towards turn number 1. First thing you want to look at, braking on the AstroTurf. If it's dry, stay away from these curbs. Please, guys, please stay away from the curbs. They have cut a little bit of a few grooves into the curbs now to help channel the water away. We'll see if that helps, but I think the drivers will be doing their best to now stay away from these curbs because they don't want to be spinning. Then you go down in towards turn number 4, braking at this 100 meters, maybe 70 meters. You can slam on the brakes. You're going about 320 kilometers per hour at this point when you get onto the brake pedal. 4th gear, and, well, don't run too wide. Again, that curb very slippery and can cause a lot of problems. Turn number 6, dab the brakes, flick it to the right. Hope the car sticks. Then you go in towards turn number 8. This is a very, very tricky one. And, you know, at this point, if it's warm, your tyres are really going to start to overheat. And the other thing, I do want to point out, actually, let's quickly just go back. So you go through turn number 8, and then you go down this little hill. You can see we're going down this hill. And what happens here is when it is raining, all of the water from turn 8 rolls down the hill towards turn number 9. All of the water from the exit of turn number 9 also rolls downhill to the apex of turn number 9 and causes loads of problems for the drivers. So they've got to watch out for these channels of water, these puddles of water, shall we say, while collecting at turn number 9, and they've got to do their best to, of course, avoid them. Then you go in towards turn 10, where you've got no entry curb on the left-hand side, so very easy to go wide. If you touch the grass, especially when it's slippery, well, say hello to the Pirelli barrier and say goodbye to your race. And then you go through turns number 11 and 12. 11, very much, you just hug the inside line. It's a pretty easy corner. Turn 12 at the top of the hill, so shouldn't be too many problems in terms of grip there because all the water is going downwards. And then, yeah, turn number 13, 14, you know, you just minimize the distance that you travel, open the DRS as early as you can, and that is a lap of Interlagos, ladies and gents. All right. Brilliant. You've seen Stroll's interview yesterday. He's using coherent sentences and very detailed. He might do something great today. Well, we'll see what Stroll can do. You know, anything that he does today will be better than what he did last year, because last year he crashed on the formation lap and then drove into a gravel trap and beached himself. I mean, incredible skill. Only Lance Stroll can do that, to be honest. So if you can get past the formation lap, solid progress for Lance Stroll. 100% more progress than last year. Yeah. All right, 26 minutes till the start of the race. Fantastic. So, the clouds, they are looking rather ominous, to say the least. The darker clouds are coming towards the circuit. They're still not all that dark, you know, it's not like a full-on thunderstorm or anything like that, but we are getting ever so slightly darker clouds progressing their way towards the Interlagos track. Where can we watch the race this weekend? This weekend it is the Austrian VPN server, and it is ORF. O for Oscar, R for Race, F for Ferrari, and then you type F1 after that on Google, and you can watch the Formula 1 coverage. And if that doesn't work for you, then you can join a Swiss VPN server and search SRF F1. So that is the... yeah, that's the situation in terms of watching the coverage via Surfshark VPN. There's a link as well in the description if you guys are interested. Okay. We have got 6,000 people tuning into the live stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button as well, be sure to do that one. We are, not too far away now from the start of the race. Track temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. Air temperature is 17 degrees Celsius. The wind is not too strong today, and it's just a little bit gusty. Sometimes it's blowing from the south, sometimes it's blowing from the north. Not very predictable. What's the most ideal tyre strategy for today? Well, let's get that information up, shall we? The tyre strategy information is this. According to Pirelli, start the race on the softs, then go on to the mediums for a one-stop strategy. And given that we've got low track temperatures today, I suspect that will be a pretty good strategy. However, there is, of course, the strategy that Max could take by going on the softs, then onto the mediums, and then onto the softs again. Wait, why is it not zooming out? Okay, because, here we go. you can see which drivers have fresh sets of which tyres. So Max Verstappen has got 3 fresh sets of soft. That is, of course, because he did not take part in quali yesterday after Q1, and he's got those leftover softs. So during the race, if he wanted to, he could pick strategy number 3, start the race on the soft tyres, make a bunch of overtakes when everyone else is maybe struggling around on mediums, trying to get them up to temperature. Then, in the final stint, when he's trying to make some more progress at the field, he would be using the soft tyres yet again. But we'll wait and see. Of course, around here in Interlagos, we do have a very high chance of a safety car. Out of the last 7 years of racing here in Interlagos, we have had 4 VSCs and 6 safety cars. So pretty good odds, actually, of having a safety car coming out and making the strategy a whole lot more interesting. And then we have, of course, the chance of a red flag as well. How does the pit lane start work? How does that work? So at the same time as the lights go green for the drivers in first and second and third position, like on the main starting grid, that's the exact same time the lights go green for the drivers in the pit lane. And yeah, they just drive out onto the circuit. Pretty standard stuff. Or maybe it's not the exact same time. Maybe it's a little bit later. But essentially, yeah, they get let out after the drivers. So they just rejoin from the back of the pack. Hi, how are you? I think there's something wrong with Piastri. Yeah, I mean, it's not been great really for Piastri these past couple of races. He hasn't got a podium in over 2 months. He hasn't. Yeah, I mean, just things haven't really been going his way. His last few race finishes have been, a DNF in Baku, and then he had a DNF in the sprint in Kota. I think he got P4 or P5 in the actual race. And again, another DNF here in Interlagos. Like, it's just not been going in the right direction for him. The championship standings, let's bring those up. We have got... Yeah, he's now 9 points behind his teammate, and he is 30 points ahead of Max Verstappen. So Max has got to gain quite the big chunk of points on Lando Norris, to be honest. You can see the gap here, 326 to 365. So that is a points gap of 39 points with 4 races left to go. We shall see what happens, and Max has got to close up 10 points every single race if he is going to, if he's going to close the gap to Lando Norris. So for this race, he's going to have to score 10 points more than Norris, which probably means that he has to finish first and Norris has to finish third. That looks quite unlikely given the starting positions and given the forecast. Right. But the exact same thing was said when Max Verstappen was starting in 17th position in Interlagos last year, and we all know how that one turned out. So let's not get too carried away with some predictions. Let's just wait and see what happens, and we'll see if the rain arrives. We did see a few momentary raindrops here and there about, let's say, 15 minutes ago. The momentary raindrops, unfortunately, have stopped, so we'll see how that works out and if we get any more rain. Red Bull have given Max Verstappen an entirely new engine, an entirely new setup. They have very much built his car for combat, to be honest with you guys, because, he's going to have to do a lot of combat and overtake a lot of drivers to get up the field. So, yeah, they've set his car up for combat. They've turned the engine onto party mode, and we'll see how it works out for the Flying Dutchman. All right. F1 Gamer, I think you should explain the pit lane start / park ferme changing stuff. Everyone is confused. So essentially how this works, folks, is the rules state that whatever setup you have during qualifying is the same setup that you have to use during the race. And Max Verstappen, from his qualifying setup, was clearly not very happy with it. In fact, I have a little clip of Max Verstappen, giving an interview sort of to the Red Bull social media person about what he thought about qualifying. So I'll play the clip shortly, but Max was not happy about it. And they were like, with this terrible setup, we're not going to get anywhere near the points. So they decided we're going to change the setup after qualifying. Now, that is not strictly against the rules. The thing is, if you do change your setup after qualifying, it means that you have to start from the pit lane. You're not disqualified or anything like that. You just got to start from the pits. And since Max was going to be starting in P16 anyway, getting that drop from P16 to P19 is really not all that bad. So that is why Max is starting from the pits. Okay, 20 minutes now till we get underway. I'm just going to play the clip, actually, of Max Verstappen giving that little interview. Again, anyone from Formula One watching, this is not an official broadcast or anything like that. This is Max Verstappen giving an interview to the Red Bull social media officer. So don't copyright strike me. Right, let's take this down.
Yeah, tough day. I mean, tried to make it better, but didn't work. Very tough qualifying where we just didn't seem to find the grip in the car and just not a good feeling. So then you can't push, it's unpredictable. You're driving under it a little bit as well. So just not what we wanted, of course, and a few things, of course, to look into overnight to try and find a better compromise for tomorrow.
Yeah, so that's essentially what Max was saying. He's trying to find a better compromise for tomorrow, and that is what they've done. They've now put in a new engine, they've put in a new setup, and they're trying to work out a better way to set up the car. So that's essentially what Max is doing. Okay. How much is the pit lane time? The drivers lose 20 seconds, folks. The drivers lose 20 seconds in the pits. So let me get up the stats. There you can see 20 seconds lost in the pit lane, and under green flag conditions, and 12 seconds lost under safety car or the virtual safety car conditions. We do have a pretty high chance of a safety car as well, given that in the last 7 years we've had 86% chance. Track is getting cooler also. It is 30 degrees Celsius for track temperature. It went down, I think, from 34 maybe. So track temp's going down. Any advantage from starting from the pit lane? Well, you just get a setup, really. That's all it is. You get to pick the setup that you want and the one that's ideal for the race. What's the chance of rain? 20%. 20%. Either this race is a Max Verstappen masterclass or it's a disappointed snooze fest. There's no in between. Well, Max probably will make it up to the points. He'll definitely have to make at least 9 overtakes to do that. So it can't be that boring. And, well, of course, Interlagos has got the history of probably one of the best racing tracks on the Formula One calendar. So it's a little bit early to say that this race might be a bit of a snooze fest. The strategy choices, let me pop those up on the screen. You can see here that most likely it is going to be a one-stop. If the track temperatures keep falling the way that they are going, we may get a one-stop, but there will be some drivers that will try for the two-stop because they need to get a lot of overtakes done, like Max Verstappen, like maybe Lewis Hamilton. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes for them. And also, I would like to talk about Isaac Hadjar and Liam Lawson. Honestly, brilliant qualifying from them, and clearly they were the number 1 Red Bull team, and RBR was the slower one, and they're the number 2. And, we'll see what they can do in terms of their performance and if they can hang on to 5th and 7th position in the constructors, in the 5th and 7th position on the track, and then hopefully increase their position in the constructor standings and try to overtake Aston Martin. Right. How good is Max's new car? Well, we'll find out. We'll find out how good Max's new car is, but with what we know, it's a brand new engine. Literally every component is brand new. Internal combustion engine, control electronics, turbocharger, exhaust system, battery, the whole thing. All of it's brand new. And he's in fact come over the radio to say that there's a lot less vibrations in this power unit compared to the last one. So clearly, maybe it's got a little bit better reliability. Maybe it's going to last a little bit longer. Who knows? But it's going to be turned up to party mode because he's got a lot of overtakes to do today. Okay, what are the green dots and how do they work? So these are the DRS detection points here. So this this green dot here is if you're within 1 second of the driver ahead of you at this green dot, then you'll get DRS down this following straight. And that's the same thing for this green dot over here. You'll get DRS for the next straight. And this white dot here is a speed trap. So you can see over here just over there to the left of me, that's where the speed traps are, and yeah, those are the speeds that the drivers will be going through down the straights. So, if we do see that there are loads of, if we see someone get an absolutely mega slipstream, then what we will see is, some pretty high speeds through the speed traps. Does Max gain an advantage by starting in the pit lane? Not really. He gets a new setup, which is an advantage compared to yesterday, but if Red Bull hadn't messed up yesterday, then it would have been fine. Oh, increase in rain percentage, folks. It was a 20% chance when I checked it a little bit earlier on. Now it has gone up to 40%. The FIA have confirmed, looking at all of the weather radars, the risk of rain for this Formula One race is 40%. That is 40, ladies and gents. Silly question, but why is the time lost under the pit stop shorter under the safety car? I hope you've had a good weekend, mate. Love your commentary. Thanks for the question, Mus. So the reason why the drivers lose less time under the safety car when coming into the pits is you're comparing yourself to a driver that's going down the main straight under normal racing conditions at 320 kilometers per hour, whereas under safety car conditions, most likely they're only doing 150 Ks, maybe 170 Ks, so they're not going as quickly compared to you, because in the pit lane, everyone's stuck at the same 80 kilometers per hour speed limit, but if the drivers under normal racing conditions are going 300 kilometers per hour, whereas behind the safety car, they're only doing 170, 180, then you lose less time to them because they're not going as quickly. So yeah, that's how it works. All right. Also, folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Hopefully, we can make our way towards 2,000 likes before the race gets underway. We're getting some fighter jets fly over the racetrack right now, and the national anthem will be done very soon, and then we'll be getting on our way for the formation lap. What are your race predictions? I predict that we are going to have... How many DNFs, actually? Folks, let me know. How many DNFs do you think we're going to have in this race? I am going to predict that we will have 3 DNFs. 3 DNFs seems reasonable. Then... any surprises? I think Piastri's going to make it up onto the podium. I don't know if he's going to get ahead of Norris, but I think that he will get up onto the podium. And then... I don't know. Where's Max going to finish? Max is definitely, I think, going to finish in the top 8. I don't know about much higher than that, though. It depends if it's raining or not. So, who knows? All right, so yeah, a lot of people actually saying, well, some people are saying 10 DNS. I think 10 is a bit unlikely. If it does rain, of course, with that 40% chance of rain that we have just got confirmed by the FIA, then we may get these 6 and 7 DNFs that some people are claiming to happen. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, what else have we got going then? Yeah, which other drivers shall we talk about? Let's talk about Oliver Bearman. Brilliant job from him. Of course, at the end of Q3, it was a little disappointing considering how well he was doing in Q1 and Q2. We were like, Oliver Bearman is coming to save us all from the boring McLaren domination. But yes, unfortunately, at the end, didn't manage to get up into the top 5. However, he's still up there. And last weekend, he found himself at the right place at the right time. So maybe he will be able to get himself back up towards the podium. He did have a brilliant race out in Mexico. That was 4th position for him, which is his best ever race finish. That is also Haas's best ever race finish. Haas have never finished on the podium, and it is 4th position is the best that they've done with Kevin Magnussen, and it is the best that they've done with Oliver Bearman as well. What is your opinion on this track? Oh, I love this circuit. This circuit is definitely up there in terms of one of the best circuits on the calendar. It's got so much action, and can't really say anything bad about it, to be honest. Can you explain if Hamilton has a chance to get onto the podium? Well, Hamilton himself said that he cannot do anything, and he has no grip, and the tyres aren't working for him. So, if Hamilton himself doesn't think that he's going to get a podium, then I don't know how I can convince you guys into thinking that he will. Because, that gap between himself and Leclerc was quite the big gap yesterday. And, I can't really say much. I live 60 kilometers from Interlagos Circuit. The moment the dark clouds are disappearing and the sun is coming out. Okay, well, 60 kilometers away is quite far away, to be honest. But we shall see. All right. Yeah, 10 minutes to go now. We're getting some radio checks just coming in. Wait, Oscar Piastri, folks, has just told you guys to like and subscribe. Has Oscar Piastri just done that? Wait. Folks, Oscar Piastri has just told you guys to subscribe. You've got to subscribe now, clearly. This has got to be clipped. There we go. Oscar Piastri, don't forget to subscribe. Well, there you go, ladies and gents. You've heard it from the man himself, the man who hasn't had the best couple of races, to be honest. But we'll see how it goes for him. He's just got to... Well, the thing is, right, overtaking Antonelli is going to be pretty difficult for Oscar Piastri, because if we do look at the race pace here, we can very, very clearly see that the Mercedes are about a tenth or so slower than the McLarens. It's not really a very, very big margin, okay? And that means that Piastri will have to force a mistake out of Antonelli. He will have to have maybe a lot fresher tyres, or maybe different tyres, like Piastri will have to be on the soft, Antonelli on the mediums, or something along those lines to get that overtake done, because, yeah, the Mercedes are just too close on actual pace for Piastri to overtake him, like, just regardless of, you know, anything. He has to have a mistake happen, or something has to happen for Piastri to get that done. If Antonelli has a perfect race, no mistakes, then Piastri will have a extremely tough time getting by him. Is it going to rain or not? It is 40% chance of rain according to the FIA. All right. Will there be a clash between Russell and Antonelli? Well, Russell's quite far away, and actually it was quite the interesting strategy from Russell, shall we say. At the end of Q3, he went out on the medium tyres, which clearly didn't work out to be, which clearly wasn't the right thing to do, to be honest, at the end of the day. And Antonelli was, in fact, really frustrated as well. His quali lap wasn't great, and he wasn't particularly happy about it. Even though he was second position, he felt that he could have got pole, and he wasn't that far off after making a mistake. So if Antonelli was there, able to potentially beat George Russell, they're able to potentially beat Lando Norris, shall we say, then Russell, if he went out on the softs instead of the mediums, then maybe Russell would also have been up there and been able to compete with Antonelli and potentially fight for the podium. So I don't think Russell's particularly happy right now, but he will try and obviously overtake Hadjar ASAP and then see what he can do against Leclerc and Piastri. Also, another thing, folks, the drivers that are starting with an odd number, so numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, they're all on the right-hand side of the grid. The drivers with the even numbers, they are on the left-hand side of the grid. Neither side has got more or less grip. They've both got equally little grip because it rained overnight, so there's no sort of rubber on one side of the track. However, the drivers on the left-hand side do have the inside line. So that is one advantage. There's no sort of real advantages to starting on the outside. It's not like you've got better conditions or anything. So we should take that into account. Antonelli will try to go up the inside of Lando Norris. Yesterday's sprint race didn't work out so well for Antonelli. His start wasn't amazing, and Norris really did chop across, cover him off, and there was nothing that Antonelli could do. However, you know, we could see something different happen this time. Mercedes will have learned their lessons with the clutch settings. Antonelli will have done a little bit more practice releasing that clutch at the correct time. So, yeah, well, let's see what happens. Yeah. Piastri as well will be on the inside of Leclerc trying to make some moves. I will actually show you what the circuit looks like in towards turn 1. It's a very short run, actually, so let me just get rid of my webcam and to show you the onboard lap. So you can see here, going in towards turn number 1, the drivers are just starting here on the right-hand side. So this is pole position here, just on the right. And then on the left-hand side, there is P2 a little bit further back. And then from this point onwards, you're accelerating for 200 meters again, and then you're back onto the brakes for turn number 1. The track sort of falls away from you. It is cambered inwards, so it does help the driver that's actually on the inside line. It helps them rotate the car a little bit easier. So that there's a little bit of an advantage there again to being on the inside. And then, yeah, it's sort of the center S. The outside for turn 1 will be the inside for turn 2. So if you can hang it around the outside, just hang on, then through turn 2, you'll be able to sort of confirm your position. But if you can't confirm it through turn 2, then you're side by side through turn 3, and the inside line at turn 3 nearly always wins. So, especially when the conditions are dry. So, yeah, it's quite the interesting sequence of corners, and you've just got to try and hang it around the outside, around the inside, whatever you can do. And, we're getting some interesting radios coming through, actually. So let me just switch over to here, and you can see that Piastri is just going over the radio saying Sector 2 most affected. So I suspect that is raindrops, I think. Yes, loud and clear. Oscar, light drops of rain, possibly similar to what we had on the last grid. Sector 2 most affected, and turns Oh no, sorry, turns 4 and 12 likely most affected. So the rain is coming from this direction. So from the right hand side to the left, you can see turn 4 is affected, turn 12 is affected. Ooh, tyre information here, ladies and gents. Quite a big mix, actually. Some medium tyres, some softs, and also some hard tyre runners. Max Verstappen starting on the hards from the back of the pack. We have got Norris at the start, starting on the mediums. Then we've got Antonelli, who's going to be on his inside, going to gain an extra 2 meters for free because those soft tyres have more grip off the line. Charles Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, 3rd and 4th position there on medium tyres. Isaac Hadjar is on softs, Russell's on mediums, Lawson, Bem and Gasly, the 3 of them, soft tyre runners. Hulkenberg chooses the mediums. Then we've got hards for Fernando Alonso. I feel like Alonso is going to start a DRS train, to be honest, again, because he is, well, he's going to hold a few drivers up behind him, given that he's on hard tyres. Albon is on mediums, Hamilton's is on fresh softs, Stroll's on hards, Sainz is on softs, Colapinto's on mediums, Tsunoda's on hards, Bortoletto at his home Grand Prix is on soft tyres, and we've got Verstappen and Ocon starting from the pit lane with the hards. Brilliant. All right, 71 laps of racing around here in Sao Paulo. 4.3 kilometers is the total length of this race circuit. We have got 43 meters of elevation change, with turns number 5 being the lowest part of the circuit, turns number 1 being the highest part, and we have got the Pirelli C4, C3, C2 for the soft, medium and hard respectively. We do also have the intermediate and the wet tires available, and we'll see if we require those. We have seen a few raindrops as what we've been told over the radio, and we have also, well, seen some rain ourselves as well. Why do you think Max is on the hards? Max is probably going to try and go long, actually. And yeah, if a safety car comes out at the start, some other drivers might come into the pits. Max is just going to go on and on and on, and then maybe use the soft tyres at the end. So quickly, let's have a look at the strategy situation. So which strategy is everyone using? Wait, what has just happened here? Why is this... Oh, give me a sec, folks. Okay, so the strategy options are... Yes, this. So start on the softs, then go on to the mediums, or you can obviously do the opposite, start on the mediums, then go on to the hards, then go on to the softs, sorry. And Max will be doing the opposite, the reverse of strategy 4 to 5. So, it'll be the other way around. So start the race on the hards, then go on to the softs at the end, or maybe the mediums at the end. That is what Max is looking to do. All right. Brilliant. We have got the race starting in 2 minutes' time. We're going to have 2 minutes and the formation lap, and then, of course, after the formation lap, we have the start of the race. With the formation lap, might take 2 laps. If Stroll crashes again, then it might take a little bit longer to get the race underway, but I don't think that will be happening. All right, thank you everyone for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button. Folks, it is not raining. Spamming it in the chat is not going to change that fact. There are tiny little drops here and there, but it is not enough for intermediate tyres. And yeah, the teams are all starting on slicks, as seen by the data. Is it Service TV or ORF? It is ORF this weekend, folks. ORF. All right, 71 laps of racing to get underway. Track temperature will be at 31 degrees Celsius at the start of the race. Air temperature at 18 degrees Celsius. We'll have Gabriel Bortoletto starting from the back of the pack at his home Grand Prix, and we'll have Max Verstappen and Esteban Ocon starting from the pit lane with Max Verstappen with a brand new engine and a fantastic party mode activated on his Honda power unit. VTEC is most certainly going to kick in for Max Verstappen when he's trying to make some overtakes up the field. Okay. How many kilometers is Interlagos? 4.3 kilometers is the total length of the circuit. We'll have 300 and I think 5 kilometers of racing here overall when you add all of the laps up. Okay. Here we go then. 30 seconds to the formation lap, ladies and gents. The drivers lose 20 seconds in the pit lane, and yeah, that is all. So the engineers are taking all of the tyre warmers off. They're lining them up on their grid slot. 30 seconds to go, as you can see by the warning from Lando Norris's radio and George Russell's radio as well. Let me get rid of this countdown timer, and the formation lap is about to get underway. All right, I'm going to have some water, otherwise my throat is going to start to hurt. All right, yeah, so the driver's weaving left and right. It's a bit of an issue actually here. 4.3 kilometers is quite the short circuit. It's one of the shorter circuits that we have got on the calendar. I think it's the third one. So there's Monaco is the shortest, Mexico is second shortest, and then Interlagos is third shortest. And yeah, only 4.3 kilometers now for the drivers to weave left, right, get the brake temperatures up, get the tire temperatures up, and, well, make sure that everything is ready for the start of the race. Ooh, let me just move my webcam ever so slightly to the left. Okay. Brilliant. So here we go then. We will have... let's go from the bottom then. We've got Esteban Ocon in 20th position, Max Verstappen in 19th, both of them starting from the pit lane on hard tyres. Bortoleto at his home Grand Prix, unfortunately having a huge crash, a 57G crash for Gabriel Bortoleto at his home Grand Prix, but his mechanics managed to repair the car in time for the race. And, well, he's taking part. Let's see if we can score some points for his home fans. Then we've got Yuki Tsunoda in 17th. Unfortunate for him, but the Red Bull car wasn't all that quick. Colapinto in 16th after getting his contract re-extended for 2026, so he and Pierre Gasly will be the Alpine drivers next year. We have got Carlos Sainz in 15th position, Lance Stroll in 14th. It looks like he's made it through the formation lap without crashing. Good to see there from Lance Stroll. He didn't manage to do that last year. Lewis Hamilton in 13th position after getting eliminated out of Q2 for the second time this weekend. First time it was due to yellow flags by his teammate. This time it was his own fault. Alex Albon in 12th position, Fernando Alonso in 11th, Nico Hülkenberg in 10th place on medium tyres. Pierre Gasly having a fantastic weekend. He's already scored 1 point for the Alpine team to bring his points total up to 21 and bring the Alpine point total up to 21 as well. No points scored by Jack Doohan or Franco Colapinto this season. We have got Oliver Behrman in 8th position after having a fantastic Q1 and Q2, wasn't managed to hook up the lap in Q3, but regardless, is in a very good position with that Haas car. Liam Lawson in 7th position, driving with the number 1 Red Bull team, and we have got George Russell in 6th for the Mercedes team. Isaac Hadjar is the highest rated Red Bull driver as of right now in 5th place. We've got Oscar Piastri in 4th. Hasn't scored a podium in the last 2 months, has had quite the few DNFs. He needs to have a clean race today and hopefully finish ahead of his teammate for the championship. 3rd position for Charles Leclerc. 2nd for Kimi Antonelli, starting on the left-hand side of Lando Norris, looking to the inside of turn number 1 immediately. Lando Norris has angled his car ever so slightly to the left. He's done his burnouts correctly, and we have got the final few cars approaching the grid. Verstappen and Ocon make their way into the pit lane, and Gabriel Bortoleto is on the grid. The green flag is waving. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. It is lights out and away we go in towards turn number 1. Lando Norris chops across Antonelli and his line is a little bit compromised. Let's see what Antonelli can do through turns number 2 and 3. They're side by side. Piastri stays ahead of Hadjar. Good move there from Piastri. He needed to make that happen off turn number 1, and Norris leads the way in towards turn number 4. It's Norris, Antonelli, Leclerc, Piastri, Hadjar and Lawson. Russell drops down into 6th position, and Norris has got to break the DRS immediately. Antonelli has got to stay within the DRS. We've got one of the Alpines trying to go around the outside. Good move there from Gasly, but just loses out to Russell as he backs out in towards turn 6. That corner is very much single file, and it is good to see that all of the drivers make it through unharmed. Alonso up into 9th, gets ahead of Ollie Behrman, even though that Alonso's on the hards. Oh, they switch back actually. Very close, hard fighting between those drivers, and we have got Lando Norris continuing on. Lando Norris continuing on. The data's glitching ever so slightly. Hopefully that resolves itself. If it doesn't, I do know how to fix it. And someone's in the barrier. Gabriel Bortoleto. No, wait. Is that Hülkenberg or is that Bortoleto? It's Bortoleto's in the barrier at turn number 20. Turn number 10. He's in last position. It is home Grand Prix as well. That might bring out the safety car because there is a huge front wing just sat on the entry of turn number 10. Bortoleto, is he going to be able to reverse out of this one? You hate to see it. At his home Grand Prix, had a huge crash yesterday, and there's a little bit of spray that's coming up from the track, but it's not rain from right now. It's rain from a little bit earlier on, and we have got the safety car out. Safety car is out, ladies and gentlemen, and we have got Gabriel Bortoleto, who has, let's see, can he get going again? Hamilton's got a broken front wing as well. Hamilton down in 19th position. He's into the pits, I think, for changing his front wing, but contact there. Bortoletto's out. No. You hate to see it. His family's there and they're watching, but Gabriel Bortoletto out of the race. Oh, right. Well, we'll get the replay, see what happened, but yeah, Bortoletto, did he make a mistake all on his own? Hamilton is down there in 19th with no front wing on his car, and he's going to have to go into the pits to get that one repaired. Of course, it's a safety car, so he's going to lose his 6 positions, but he is not going to be 20 seconds behind the field. And this gives, well, Antonelli an opportunity to stay back. Well, to catch up, sorry. Okay. His hometown will be upset. Indeed, they will. You know, it is, it's quite sad. All right. Yeah. Oh, they're looking to see if Hamilton has got floor damage. Let's see. Okay, we're looking at the replay here for Lewis Hamilton. Oh, he gets hit on the side pod by one of the Red Bulls. That's either, I think that might have been Tsunoda actually. And then he's losing time in towards turn number... there's contact between one of the Aston Martins and Bortoletto. Was that Stroll? It must have been Stroll because Bortoletto started from the back of the pack. So it was Stroll. Stroll and Bortoletto contact, and Stroll pushed me out. He just turned in as if I was not there, says Bortoletto over the radio, and he's out of the race. The mechanics worked so hard. Honestly, folks, let me show you the image of what Bortoletto's car looked like. After his crash, like it was in a terrible condition. Like, this is what Bortoletto's car looked like. The mechanics worked so hard to repair it, and Stroll has done Stroll things. Hamilton is had contact with, I think, one of the Alpines, was it? I'm not sure exactly what happened to Hamilton because I've missed the replay because I was too busy getting up the image. But either way, Hamilton changed front wing, as you can see, coming out of the pit lane now. He's asked, is the floor okay? So there may be damage to Lewis Hamilton's floor as well, because he did get sort of hit on the side where the side pod is and where the floor is. The drivers are cutting the corner at turn number 10 to avoid going anywhere near Bortoletto's car and the recovery vehicle. But yeah, it is not great. Bortoletto at his home Grand Prix, unfortunately, is out. We'll keep our eyes peeled for Hamilton's radio to see if his floor is damaged or if it's okay, but not the best sign to start off the race with, to be honest. We've got 33,000 people tuning into the live stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you guys could hit the like button, that'd be mega. We've only got 2,600 likes. That's nearly, we could probably get 10,000 likes with 33,000 people watching. So that would very much be appreciated if you guys could hit the like button, and it really does help out the channel and the YouTube algorithm and things like that. Okay, and Lance Stroll's being told over the radio, you're doing a good job keeping front temperature and stuff like that. Oh, Hamilton had a really slow pit stop as well. They had some problems getting... okay. The reason why Hamilton had a really slow pit stop is, normally there's the front jack and the rear jack. The rear jack attaches to the floor. The front jack attaches to the front wing. But Hamilton didn't have a front wing to attach it to. So the mechanics sort of had to manually lift up the front of the car, take it off, and then... so they could change the tyres, and then they could also bolt on the new front wing. So a bit of a long pit stop there for Lewis Hamilton because his front wing was just totally gone. And that was Carlos Sainz that had contact with Hamilton. That was the contact on the side pod, and then I think there was more contact a little bit later on that gave him even the front wing damage. Okay, but we're still behind the safety car here, folks, and we are still lapping along just a-okay. Everyone avoiding sort of Bortoletto's car, and the track will be getting cleared up very, very soon. In fact, we've just got a track sector clear at turn 11. Oh, sorry, track sector 11 clear, which means where turn number 10 is, where the Bortoletto's car was, that will be, that's been sort of cleared up. So it should be the next lap will probably be the lap when the safety car comes in. Oh, they're talking about the magic button for Charles Leclerc. I'm still rather close. Not stable. Hamilton says not stable, understood. I think that might be referring to his floor, to be honest. Not a great sign there. Is the pit lane start beneficial for Max? Well, he's got a setup that he likes, and he's clearly not lost much time because of the whole safety car thing. So it was the correct decision to make, especially now that he's got a fresh engine. Who's winning the race? It's the safety car. Safety car's winning the race, folks. Bernd Mailander, the safety car driver, he flies around. He gets free tickets, actually, to every single Formula 1 race, and he gets to drive the safety car. And, well, he's currently winning the race. Okay. I think he's actually our driver of the day, to be honest. Yeah, Bernd Mailander, driver of the day so far. Lap number 5 of 71. Yeah. Okay, I hope you're all enjoying the coverage, and, yeah, look forward to commentating for you guys. Yeah, I've lost a lot of downforce. Rear's not stable, says Hamilton. So, yeah, Hamilton may have a set of hard tyres, which he might even try to go to the end of the race with. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Safety car. Is it safety car means? No, safety car. I don't know why it says safety car 2, actually. But safety car is in this lap, ladies and gentlemen. Safety car is in this lap. Fantastic. We're about to go racing, and Lando Norris is backing up the pack. Antonelli is on his tail. He's done this before, sprint race. Norris was behind the safety car for the rolling restart at the red flag, and, they're turning on mode race. They're getting the cars switched on and ready to go, and we're getting underway for some racing. Oh, the data has just happened to lag there a little bit. Hopefully it's all right. I might give it a quick reset if it starts getting very, very bad indeed. But it looks to be going all right for now. So Lando Norris backing everyone up, holding up the pack. He doesn't want to go really early, because if he goes really early, then Antonelli's just going to slipstream him down the start-finish straight. And, Oscar Piastri looking to the inside. It's 3 wide into turn 1. Piastri on the inside. Contact! Leclerc's got damage, and they cut the corner. I don't know what's going to happen there, but Piastri into second position, and there's a wheel flying. Leclerc, oh my God. Ferrari, where's the Ferrari meme, guys? Leclerc's got a puncture. His car's gone. He's at the back of the pack. Yeah, folks, this is, oh my goodness me. And, yeah, Piastri's up into second place, and he's going to try to stay behind his teammate, Charles Leclerc, Ferrari, 19th, 20th. What can you even say, man? What can you even say? Oh my God. Piastri, yellow flags out. Leclerc stopped at the side of the circuit. Is this safety car number 2? Are we going to have a second safety car here? Leclerc probably is going to park up actually at a reasonable spot, but there is very much a stray Pirelli tyre that is somewhere. Leclerc not very happy over the radio, clearly. Stop the car, F that. Front left suspension is broken. Leclerc is out of the race, ladies and gentlemen. He is out of the race. Stroll has got contact somehow, somewhere, because he's been dropped back behind Hamilton. Don't know what's going on there, but okay. It's still just yellow flags. We're continuing on with the racing here, ladies and gents. Continuing on with the racing. No safety car, no VSC. Leclerc must have parked his car in a safe position. Oh no, never mind. VSC has just been deployed, and Norris, Piastri, Antonelli all have slowed down to VSC speed while they move Leclerc's car off the racetrack. Okay, folks, well, we shall see what happens to Oscar Piastri for a penalty, or if anything gets given out. But as of right now, nothing has even gone under investigation. I will let you know as soon as something does go under investigation, but it was 3 wide. Antonelli got a terrible start. Leclerc got a slipstream. Piastri got a double slipstream. Piastri locked up, hit Antonelli, who then hit Leclerc. Leclerc out. Antonelli loses a place, and Piastri up into second. I don't know how clean that one was. He did lock up and then hit Antonelli, but Piastri also made the corner. I don't know. I'm going to have to let the stewards decide that one, because, yeah. We'll see what happens. As of right now, it hasn't even gone under investigation. Also, Max Verstappen is up into P13 with all of this. Oh my God, that was brutal. The damage to Charles Leclerc's car. I mean, oh my God, that is really, really bad. Through no fault of his own, Piastri steaming down the inside, locks up ever so slightly with probably the wet patch that's there on the circuit, hits the rear of Antonelli's car, and then hits Piastri. Hits Leclerc. Piastri comes over the radio to say he left me no space. I don't know. Did Antonelli leave him enough space? Yeah, he did. I think so, yeah. Okay. Jedi599, thanks for the donation. Just good evening, F1 Gamer. Hope you're doing well. Just joined. I see Interlagos is providing entertainment as usual. Hope Gabby's okay after that crash. Yeah, Gabby's fine. He's obviously not mentally going to be in a very happy state, but in terms of his physical state, he's great. Thanks for the donation once again. Max has just come out of the pit lane. Wait, what? Max has put on medium tyres. 64 laps remain in this race. What is Max doing? Is he just trying to make the race hard for himself? Like, what is going on there? He's of course saved a few seconds by coming into the pits early. What did they say over the radio to Max? Are they? Yeah, they're packing the hard tyres back into the tyre warmers. I don't know what they're doing. We'll keep an eye out on the strategy here, but on the team radios and everything. But does anyone know why Max has changed tyres? Because 64 laps after this race, it would be a stretch to go to the end of the race on that one. Because, Pirelli say you can only do about 40 something. Yeah, 45 laps you can say do on the puncture. Okay, front right puncture. Okay. Thanks for the information, folks. Thanks for the information. VSC's ending. Max Verstappen, unfortunately, got a puncture. And Piastri is now right on Norris's tail. And he could get a brilliant tow in towards turn number 1. Here he goes. Does he pull off the same move? DRS has been enabled, folks. So it's going to be in towards turn number 1. Piastri is going to get DRS down in towards turn 4. This is looking good. Oh, a little twitch again. More contact at the back. One of the Racing Bulls very narrowly avoids the Mercedes of Kimi Antonelli, and Oscar Piastri in towards turn number 2. Turn number 4, can he get the move done? Not on this occasion. Ooh, not on this occasion. All right. Let's see. Max has got ahead of Stroll immediately, and Ocon came into the pits. We've got Norris, who is continuing on. He's built an 8/10 gap to Piastri. He's just got to build that over 1 second. Piastri, of course, trying to keep it below that. They're both on medium tyres. Antonelli's been told over the radio that the car is fine, not too much major damage to the car, so he should be okay from that perspective. And the data is lagging ever so slightly. If it continues doing that for the next 1 or 2 laps, I will just quickly sort it out. But yeah, if Max had started on the mediums and then switched onto the hards after getting a puncture, that would have been the ideal strategy. Just go the entire race on one set of hard tyres. But yeah, that's of course not how it's worked out, has it? Piastri, no DRS on this occasion. And let's see. He's going through the green detection point there. The gap is 1.087. Piastri has lost DRS to Lando Norris. He has got to be careful on how hard he's attacking, but he's also got to stay within range of his teammate if he wants to win this race. He needs to gain some more points back in the championship. Currently, Norris is 9 points ahead. If the positions stay in a 1-2, that 9-point gap is going to go to a 16-point gap, which, Piastri, of course, does not want that to happen. So we'll see what happens on the strategy front. Will McLaren prioritize one of their drivers? Well, none of them are going to prioritize either, but we will probably see someone try to undercut the other. Brazil GP, more like safety car edition. Yeah, maybe. Fastest lap from Max Verstappen. He's overtaken Stroll already, and he's got 4 seconds to catch up to Hamilton. Oh, the data's just lagged again. Right, well, it's sort of fixing itself, so we'll see. 1.5 seconds is the gap. Piastri unable to keep up in the middle sector. He loses 4/10 in the middle sector. Wow, that's just not great, really. And what I would like to point out here, ladies and gentlemen, Max Verstappen has gone 4/10 quicker in the middle sector compared to Lando Norris. 4/10. Both of them have clean air, but Max is clearly pushing much harder. He's much more confident in the car than he was yesterday, and we'll see how that goes. Also, there is no further investigation that has happened in between the incident between Piastri, Antonelli, and Leclerc. No further investigation, or nothing that we've seen. At least nothing has come up. They've already noted the incident between Stroll and Tsunoda at turn number 8, and that's under investigation, but nothing. Oh no, Piastri Antonelli causing a collision. It's been noted now, folks. It's been noted, so it's now probably going to go under investigation, and once it goes under investigation, we'll see who gets a penalty and who doesn't. But yeah, I probably should have clarified that a little bit earlier on. I didn't mean no penalty. It's now just gone under investigation. Okay. But yeah, Piastri's gap 1.7. Norris is just pulling this gap out, and Piastri is now going to have to start looking backwards, start looking in his mirrors to see what Antonelli is doing, because Antonelli's got some brilliant pace here. And Russell now trying to get ahead of Hadjar, and he's trying the switchback here, goes deep into turn 1, brilliant exit out of turn number 3, tucked right behind that rear wing of the Racing Bulls, opens the DRS, looks to the left-hand side. It's a drag race, Mercedes versus Honda, and Russell wins that one out. It's a McLaren 1-2, Mercedes 3-4. The top 4 cars are all Mercedes power units. Max versus Hamilton for P15. Yeah, this is going crazy. Colapinto versus Max versus Hamilton. I mean, it's just like 2021, except that we are fighting for 15th and 16th position. And ladies and gents, Tsunoda has been given a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision between himself and Lance Stroll. And we'll see what happens between Piastri and Antonelli. But that has been noted, and I'll let you know when it goes under investigation. Okay, all right. Yeah, here he goes then. Max Verstappen is sort of getting held up here by Lewis Hamilton, actually, because Colapinto is giving Hamilton DRS, which makes it a little bit harder for Max to overtake, except Max has got party mode. He's got the Honda engine, and he's tucked into behind that HP rear wing of the Ferrari. Behrman sends a ridiculous move down the inside of Lawson. What a move by Oliver Behrman. Down the inside he goes. P6 for Ollie Behrman ahead of Lawson, and Max Verstappen does the same on Lewis Hamilton. He gets the overtake done in through the CNRS, and it's 15th place for Max. Next up on the overtaking list, Franco Colapinto. Behrman is really cooking. I mean, if he can overtake Lawson, he could probably also overtake Behrman, so he'll be right up there. You know, last weekend he was battling away with Antonelli and Russell, and, well, this weekend it might be happening again. Okay. Up at the front. Yeah, gap is 2 seconds. Piastri hasn't let Norris run away with this, but he's also not getting all that close. I swear the data always freezes as Norris goes through turn number 12, and then it unfreezes, and then it's fine. So I'm just going to carry on, because otherwise it's going to take a full, minute 30 seconds to turn everything back on. So it's going all right for now. Okay. Let's see. In towards turn 1 they go, and we have got Verstappen ahead of Colapinto. Easily done. And, the Alpine is down on horsepower. Not too much of a struggle there for Max. Next up is Tsunoda. Surely they're just going to switcheroo that one and tell Tsunoda to get out of the way, because there is... And Tsunoda's also got a 10-second time penalty, so, yeah, you know, Also, the Sainz-Hamilton incident has been noted at turn number 1. Lap 1, turn 1 incident has been noted now. We're on lap number 14. Why are they noting a turn number 1 incident, lap 1, turn 1 incident now? That happened 14 laps ago. They had those 2 safety cars to note that incident, but hey-ho. Is Piastri not pushing, or is he slow? I mean, I don't know. Piastri might be trying to go for a different strategy. Typically, you know, when we see 2 cars of 2 drivers on a very similar caliber, it's difficult for them to make an overtake on each other. So normally, how this works is the drivers will try to do an alternate strategy to their competition, and... yeah, we'll sort of just have to see how that one goes. You know, Piastri might try to go super long, Norris might go short. So maybe there's a bit of strategy involved as well. Hamilton complaining about his downforce levels because he's got a damaged car because of his contact with Carlos Sainz. So he's saying the car's super unstable, and he's surprised he hasn't crashed yet. Yeah, going down the main straight, Tsunoda, Verstappen swap around. Verstappen up into P13. All right. Now he's in a DRS train. The DRS train headed by Liam Lawson. Lawson, Gasly, Albon, Sainz, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Verstappen, and Tsunoda. Big DRS train there. We'll see what Verstappen can do and how much progress he can make through the field. Lewis Hamilton comes into the pits. He does not retire, but he continues on, and he has got a set of medium tyres to go to the end of the race on. I mean, 57 laps is manageable, I would say, on a set of medium tyres. Also, the hard tyres probably aren't helping. Given that the track temperature is 30 degrees Celsius, the hard tyres aren't going to be in their optimal sort of working state. So it makes sense to switch off the hards and go on to the medium tyres. Okay, further up, though, Piastri has now let Norris get even further away. 2.7 seconds is that gap now, and Norris is consistently going, consistently going 3/4 tenths quicker. We've got a turn 15 incident between Franco Colapinto and Lewis Hamilton, also noted for causing a collision. They're just noting a lot of incidents and not really doing much investigation, these stewards. Hopefully they can give an outcome quickly. Oh, Piastri and Antonelli under investigation. Well, a commentator's curse. I've just said it and they've done it. Piastri and Antonelli under investigation. The last penalty the stewards gave out was a 10-second time penalty for Yuki Tsunoda for crashing with Lance Stroll. We'll see what happens between between Piastri and Antonelli. Okay. We have got a 3-second gap up at the front, and 10-second time penalty, ladies and gentlemen. 10 seconds has been given to Oscar Piastri. That is 10 with two hands, with 2 5s. Yeah, 10 seconds, 1-0. And, well, he's going to have to serve that at his next pit stop. Let's see what happens. You know, so you might call it a racing incident, but the stewards did not see it this way. And what can I say? You guys can decide for your own. I'm not even going to make any comments on this one because, yeah, you guys can have a decide. I think it's, well, okay, I'm not going to make any comments on this one, but he has been given a 10-second time penalty for that contact with Antonelli. All right, Verstappen gets ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. Easy overtake for Max, and now he's up into 12th position. And, yeah. So that DRS train not really holding up Max Verstappen too much. Next up is Fernando Alonso. We'll see what Alonso does, and does he let Max Verstappen out of the way very easily. Okay. And no further investigation between Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton for causing a collision. So the contact between Sainz and Hamilton, no collision there. No penalty given out for that one. So Sainz gets away penalty free. Max Verstappen is all over the back of Fernando Alonso here, practically pushing him through some of these corners. But Fernando Alonso does have a big slipstream and a big toe from Carlos Sainz ahead of him. So we'll see if Verstappen will be able to get ahead of the Spaniard. Max is cooking though, ladies and gentlemen. Piastri may have a 10-second time penalty. So normally, folks, you lose 20 seconds coming into the pit lane. If you have a 10-second time penalty, you have to serve it in the pits, and that drops you all the way back. So if Piastri was to pit right now, he would come back out in just ahead of Esteban Ocon. So to be fair, that would give him a lot of clean air. If McLaren want to go for a bold strategy, something that might be big risk versus big reward, pit Oscar Piastri right now, put him on a set of hard tyres, he'll come out just ahead of Esteban Ocon, and then he'll go right to the end of the race. And if there's any safety cars, anything like that, Norris will have to come into the pits. Piastri will hold track position. Max gets ahead of Fernando Alonso, clearly not, he's making such ridiculous progress through the field, man. Like, how is he just cutting through the pack like crazy? And, Colapinto and Hamilton is now under investigation. We'll see what happens there between those two. But Max is now up into P9. Few drivers had come into the pits. You have to take that into account, of course. But, yeah. I think with the way that the stewards do a lot of their penalties, sometimes they sort of look at the outcome of the thing. Like, I think, let's imagine if Piastri had just had contact with Antonelli, but all three drivers got away with the whole thing, but Piastri, Antonelli, and Leclerc were in that order, second, third, fourth. Would they have given the same 10-second penalty if Leclerc had DNF'd? I'm not sure, because the stewards typically are sort of inconsistent with this stuff, but either way, a penalty has been given out. Piastri's going to have to take it, no matter how much whinging and whining McLaren do over the radio. All right, we've got two more drivers coming into the pits. It's 13th and 14th for Isaac Hadjar and Ollie Behrman as they leave the pit lane. Oh, sorry, Isaac Hadjar and Pierre Gasly as they leave the pit lane. Max is getting up into P7, guys. Like, he is making progress, but of course, loads of drivers are also pitting, so you have to take that into account. No doubt, though, Max's pace is looking good. Next up is Albon on his list to overtake. Albon, unfortunately, doesn't even have any DRS to help him out. It's just Max Verstappen versus Alex Albon, and we know how that went down in 2019. Albon has improved since, but the Williams isn't in all that good condition, to be honest. Any chances of rain? They said 40% at the start of the race, but yeah, you check the forecast now and it says 20%. So yeah, it's not looking amazing in terms of the rain forecast if anyone's hoping for rain, but Max is still making some pretty solid progress regardless, to be honest. Like, Max is stuck in traffic. Admittedly, he does get a bit of DRS help here and there, but his lap times are only 0.3 slower than Lando Norris's, or 0.2 slower than Lando Norris's. So it's pretty solid going there from Max Verstappen. Unfortunately, wasn't able to overtake Alex Albon in towards turn number 1 on this occasion. Going in towards turn 4, he does try to get a really good exit. Looks to the inside of Albon, and does he get that one by? No, not on this occasion. He's going to have to sit behind Albon for one more lap. Lap number 20 of 71 here, ladies and gentlemen. We are approaching the 1/3 stage of the race, and the soft tyres are very much wearing out. So Antonelli, I suspect, will be coming into the pits soon. But if he does, where is he going to come out? He's going to come out just behind Lance Stroll, and he's going to come out with a bunch of traffic ahead of him, which is not ideal for Kimi Antonelli. So we'll see what happens there. Okay. Folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. We've got nearly 40,000 people tuning into the live stream. Really do appreciate you all tuning in. Hope you are all enjoying the coverage. And yeah, be sure to hit the like button. It goes a long way to helping out the channel. All right. Yeah, Max Verstappen, is he going to get ahead of Alex Albon on this occasion? In toward turns 1 he goes, and looks like a reasonably easy move for the Dutchman. We've also got a battle going on between Nico Hülkenberg and Fernando Alonso. Hülkenberg currently looks to get that move done. Yes, he does. He's ahead on the GPS, but on the map tracker he's behind. On real life he's also ahead, so there we go, it's just updated now. Okay. Brilliant. So now Max has got a 9-second gap. Okay, folks, I want some predictions here. Max has got a 9-second gap to close up to George Russell. They're both on medium tyres. Russell's medium tyres are a little bit older, but how many laps will it take for Max Verstappen to close up, or will he not close up that gap? I want to know what your thoughts are. How many laps is it going to take to close up a 9-second gap? He's got a bunch of clean air. He hasn't been in clean air for the last 5, 6, 7 laps now? A lot of people saying 5 laps, 10 laps, 8 laps. Okay, I think most people are saying 5 laps or 7 laps or something like that. So, well, let's wait and see. Antonelli comes into the pits. Let's see, does he come out in front of traffic or behind the traffic? Of course, he's got to come into the pits sooner rather than later, because those soft tyres were going to wear out. And the gap between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris, that is another thing to keep an eye on. Normally we're only looking at the gap between Max and the driver ahead of him, but this is the overall aim. Max has to gain at least 6 or 7 points. I just said it, haven't I? Anyway, he's got to gain at least that many points on Lando Norris to keep his championship hopes alive. And that gap, this 19 seconds here, has got to go down to maybe 3 it's got to go down, and Max has got to get ahead of Norris. That's the aim. So we'll see what happens. Okay, Norris up at the front with a 5-second lead over his teammate. Piastri, of course, has got a 10-second time penalty as well that he's got to serve. If Piastri were to come into the pits now and drop back a 30 seconds, that would put him just ahead of Behrman, just ahead of Hadjar, and just behind Behrman. So in that little gap there at turn number 10, which is not ideal really. He'd still need a little bit more clean air, hopefully, but what can you do? He's got a 10-second time penalty, so he's got to deal with that somehow. Okay, let's see then, folks. So I think most people gave predictions of 7 laps from lap number 22. So we'll have a look at lap 29, and we'll see if Max has got close to George Russell, and is he able to close that gap up. On the previous occasion, Max went half a second quicker. On the previous lap, Max went half a second quicker than George Russell. Pretty good. Check out Yuki. Yuki is in 8th position. Well, some solid progress. Of course, he hasn't come into the pits yet. All the soft tyre runners have come into the pits because, well, the soft tyres could only do around 20 laps or so. That's what Pirelli said. That's what happened. They probably know what they're doing since they made the tyres. But Antonelli now, man on a mission. Purple in the first sector, looking to make some progress through this traffic and, well, get to the front of it. Oh, we've got McLaren drivers here McLaren mechanics standing around with all the tyres. We may be getting a pit stop soon from one of the drivers. In fact, Norris, over the radio, you can just see. So Lando, the hard does not look good. The soft, probably similar to yesterday. That's based off Antonelli, who has just pitted off it. So maybe Norris is going to go onto the soft tyres. That would pretty much confirm a two-stop strategy. But, well, let's wait and see. Did Max pit? Max pitted ages ago behind this VSC because he had a puncture on his tyre. So that is why Max came into the pits. He is still probably going to have to do one more pit stop to get to the end of the race. The drivers lose 20 seconds by coming into the pit lane, but of course, if you've got a 10-second time penalty like Tsunoda or like Piastri, that's going to jump up to 30 seconds. Antonelli's made it ahead of Colapinto. Now he's got Yuki Tsunoda ahead of him. He's, of course, Tsunoda's a sitting duck, really. He's got no DRS, and Antonelli is really charging on those fresh medium tyres that he's got bolted onto his car. So half a second is the gap right now on lap number 24, and we'll see if he gets the overtake done in towards turn 1. Max with the new engine, fastest car. Well, he has got a new engine. He has clearly turned it up to party mode. You can very, very clearly see that by looking at the speeds that he's going down the straights at. But that gap now, which was 9 seconds, now down to 7.5 seconds. So he's making some progress. Maybe not as fast as everyone predicted, but he is making some progress. Tsunoda boxes into the pits. So Tsunoda could do 21 laps on the medium tyres. In fact, he is one of the first drivers that's come into the pits after doing the first stint, or the first big stint of the race on a set of mediums. So we'll see. 22 laps is, what we sort of expect from the medium tyres. All right. Oh, let's zoom in again. There we go. Has Hamilton got damage? Yes, he does, folks. Hamilton does have major, major floor damage to his car, and that is why he's down in 17th position. And the Ferrari meme is as true as always. It's absolute depression for Leclerc, who's DNF'd out this race, and it is so over for the Ferrari team, as it always is. As it is half of the time, at least. How is Max in P4? Because he hasn't come into the pits yet. But he's also got some pretty solid pace. All right, we've got some nice battling going on here. Fernando Alonso versus Kimi Antonelli. Antonelli, of course, on this fresh rubber, and he's trying to get past Alonso. Alonso's making it a bit difficult for him, but I think at the end of the day, when they get onto this straight on the exit of turn number 12, Alonso does his best to get a good exit. Antonelli doesn't even have to try because he's on a fresh set of tyres. He opens that DRS flap. They've both got the same power unit under the hood, and they make their way down the start-finish straight, and that's an easy-peasy overtake for Antonelli. Will Alonso try to send one down the inside? He doesn't on this occasion. He knows there's no point wasting time and getting involved in battles that you are going to lose. News on rain. There is no news on the rain. The clouds are getting lighter and lighter, which means the chance of rain is getting smaller and smaller. Track temperatures are going up, and air temperatures are staying around about stable. Okay, that gap is 7 seconds, and as I said earlier, the gap that Max is really looking to get down is 19.4 seconds, and it was 19.2, probably about 6 or 8 laps ago. So, Max is not gaining time on Norris, but he's also not losing time on Norris, which is, a step in the right direction. But if he wants to win this championship, he's going to need to get ahead of Norris and gain an extra 7 points in this title. Otherwise, Norris is going to have a much, much easier chance of winning this one. Okay. Hulkenberg's trying to get ahead of Albon. Hulkenberg, I've got to say, solid progress from him, honestly, because, he has just been, slowly but surely making his way through the field. He got ahead of Colapinto. He got ahead of Alonso. He's now up 4 places. And next up is Alex Albon on his overtaking list. Yuki pitted thrice. No, Yuki only pitted twice. He started the race on the hards, then went on to the mediums, and then went on to the mediums again. And the tyre information for Tsunoda is very clearly glitched out. It's not 0 laps that he did on the hards and then 0 laps on the mediums. So just ignore that one. Okay, we've got 40,000 people tuned into live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you are all enjoying the coverage. And yeah, look forward to commentating to you guys for the final 3 races of the season. It's going to be absolutely mega. Norris versus Piastri. It's very much looking strong in Norris's favour, but you know, in the world of Formula 1, the momentum can change like this. There's 1/10, 2/10 of a second of a gap between these drivers on pretty much every single lap, and that can get changed very, very quickly. Okay. Yeah, Max is closing that gap up to Russell. Unfortunately, not closing the gap up to Norris just yet. But pit stops are still yet to happen. Drivers are managing their tyres at different levels. Also, Tsunoda has been noted for failing to serve a time penalty correctly. I don't know if that was an accident or what happened there, but he's under investigation. Tsunoda had a 10-second time penalty, and Tsunoda had a 10-second time penalty, and what happens is you come into the pits, you wait 10 seconds, and once the 10-second timer is up, then the mechanics can jack the car up, take off the old tyres, put on the new tyres. I don't know if they waited 9.9 seconds or 9.7 seconds, but Tsunoda is under investigation for failing to serve a time penalty correctly. Not great. I mean, look, Hamilton has been given a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. Okay, well, you're just kicking a man who's down already, to be honest, because he's in 17th position with a damaged car. 5-second penalty. I mean, at this point, just retire the car because it's not really going well, is it? Yeah, and Tsunoda is still under investigation for his time penalty thing. I don't even know when. I think that was Hamilton. Yeah, Hamilton Colapinto was the last thing that they were investigating. They started investigating that on lap number 18, and then now on lap number 29, they've just dished out that penalty of 5 seconds. It took them 10 laps to investigate the collision between Hamilton and Colapinto, and they ended up with giving Hamilton a 5-second time penalty. Honestly, I'm not even going to make any comments about the FIA. You guys can figure that out yourselves. How did they take 10 laps to figure out a penalty? I mean, you know what, let's just focus back on the race again. Max is closing up on Russell, and we've got Fernando Alonso diving into the pits. He only did 28 laps on those hard tyres, not looking as strong as they would have hoped. And yeah, that is purely down to the fact that track temperature is down at 31 degrees Celsius. So yeah, the hard tyres not optimal, and he'll be looking to use those set of mediums that he's just put on to try to go to the end of the race. Pirelli expect you can do 45 laps. Fernando Alonso has got 42 laps left of this race, so he should be A-okay to make it to the end. What happened to Leclerc? There was a contact between Piastri, Antonelli, and Leclerc, and that's where, yeah, Leclerc got taken out. And Piastri got a 10-second time penalty for it. Piastri is also being coached over the radio. He is losing quite a bit of grip through turn. Oh, Norris, we're expecting to box this lap. This is just coming over the radio to Lando Norris, actually. We are expecting to box this lap. Okay, well, Norris might be coming in. Piastri is being told that he's over-rotating the car, through turns number 8 and 9. That is 2 right-hand corners. And yeah, struggling with his tyres a little bit there is Piastri. And that's where he's losing his time in the middle sector. You know, in the first sector, the gap between Norris and Piastri, 2 milliseconds. You look at the gap between the middle sector, and it's probably going to be around about 3/10 or so. Okay. Fernando Alonso gets up 2 more places after Colapinto and Stroll come into the pits. Colapinto's out on softs. Wait, is this soft tyres for Norris? Norris is coming out on softs. 42 laps remain. Lando Norris is going to try to go to... Is he going to do a 2-stop strategy? I'm quickly going to flash up the strategies according to Pirelli here, folks. I won't keep them on the screen for long, but I will show you what Pirelli expected the strategies to be for today's race. Norris is coming out on a set of soft tyres. So let me just show you. Here we go. So the strategy that Norris did, start the race on the mediums and then go on to the softs and then go on to the mediums at the end. So is he doing a version of strategy 2 or a version of strategy 3? He could go right till the end of the race, but I don't think that's going to happen. Look at the drivers who started the race on the medium tyres. The maximum laps that we saw were 24 laps, and that was done by Kimi Antonelli, who was managing his tyres quite well. And yeah, with 41 laps left of the race, there's no way Norris makes it to the end on a set of softs. So that means he has confirmed a two-stop strategy. I mean, unless he pulls off a miracle and manages to get these soft tyres to go right till the end, I think it is going to be a two-stop for Norris. Piastri, on the other hand, can do a one-stop. But the problem is, well, when's his pit stop window going to be? He's going to have to drag these medium tyres out to around about lap number 40 or so. So you've got to do 10 more laps and then bolt on a set of softs and try to go to the end of the race. That's Piastri's aim, and we'll see if it works. I think that's what they're going to do. I think Norris, if Norris is committed to a two-stop, Piastri has to commit to a one-stop, given that he's got this whole penalty and everything. But yeah, Norris had a 7-second gap, then he came into the pits, and then, of course, you've got to add on the 10 seconds that Piastri also had from his penalty. So Norris, after the whole pit stop situation, even without gaining any time on these soft tyres, he would be he'd be only 3 seconds back from Piastri. But, like, including an extra pit stop. Wait, have I said that correctly? I don't know. But either way, I think Piastri's doing a one-stop, Norris is doing a two-stop. But I'd be happy to be proven wrong, you know? If Norris can manage soft tyres for 40 laps, that would be mega. For the sprint race, of course, it was very borderline. The sprint race was 23 laps, and the drivers were going to do it on either softs or mediums because they weren't sure the softs would last right till the end. They got sort of bailed out by the fact that we got a red flag, so they could just switch tyres halfway through for no extra time loss. But yeah, as we saw today, the soft tyres are only really doing 22 laps. You've got to consider, of course, now at the halfway point of the race, the cars have got 50 kilograms less fuel in the car, which is going to make the cars lighter, a little bit less tyre wear, but still, it's not going to be the biggest impact. How's Max gone up to P3? I don't know. Max is actually defending against Lando Norris here. Max has surely got to hold him up as much as he possibly can. This is Max's job now. Hold up Lando Norris. Use all of the overtake. Norris tries to go around the outside. Max looking to the inside. Is he going to be able to defend? Max doesn't even try. I don't know what sort of... if he's going to try again through turn number 3, but that gap is huge. And to be fair, Max is on 25-lap-old medium tyres. Norris is on 5-lap-old softs. Like, there's not really much of a competition there. And Norris is very much already nearly broken that DRS. Yeah, very, very interesting, folks. But with 39 laps left to go, it's going to be quite the exciting race because we're going to have this big strategy battle between Piastri and Norris. And we're going to see which one comes out on top, which driver makes it work. Okay. Yeah, Norris has already broken DRS to Verstappen, and there you go. Breezes by, and oh no! Oh no! Tsunoda has just been given a 10-second time penalty for failing to serve a time penalty correctly. So Yuki has just... Yuki Tsunoda has just been given 10-second time penalty because he didn't serve his first 10-second time penalty correctly. Brilliant. Does that add on? Because let's say his first 10-second time penalty, he only served like 7 seconds of it. Does that mean he has to serve the first one and the second one together, or just the second one on its own? I don't know. But it's very similar to what happened with Carlos Sainz. No, Carlos Sainz got a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane and then did it again and then got a drive-through penalty and probably drove through the pit lane too quickly again. So, yeah. Will you read Gunter's book? Probably will, actually. Over the winter break, I'll read Gunter Steiner's book. Why not? Pierre Gasly up into... Oh, Pierre Gasly and Hadjar are battling away, actually. And we've got... Hadjar just stays out ahead. And Albon and Behrman are also battling away. Look at that. Very, very close between Hülkenberg, Behrman, and Albon. All right. It's not even Tsunoda's fault. Yeah, it isn't. I agree with that one. You know, the team did the pit stop. However, you know, if you say that and it was the team's fault, then all of the teams are just going to ignore the time penalties, or they're going to do a 4-second time penalty for an actual 5-second time penalty award. So, like, I think you sort of understand where I'm saying. Like, if we say, oh no, it wasn't the team's fault, it wasn't the driver's fault, the team should be penalised, the teams will just pay a really big fine and they won't care because they'll gain an extra second in lap time. So, I understand why they gave him a penalty, but yeah, it's not great. All right, Max is into the pits, so is Russell. And Max, what tyres is he going to put on then now? 37 laps remain, and will the softs last till the end of the race? Russell's on softs, and Verstappen is on mystery question mark tyre. What tyre is it going to be for Mad Max as he comes out of the pits? I think it is a set of softs, if my eyes don't deceive me. Oh, no. It says mediums. Let me double check. Max Verstappen is out on a set of mediums. Okay. Well, actually, that works great for Max because he has already done a stint on hards. So he's allowed the rule, the rule that says that you have to use 2 different tyre compounds. Max has done that. So now he's out on a set of medium tyres, which can definitely do 37 laps. Piastri himself has done 34 laps on his set of medium tyres. So, not 34, 35 laps now. And in fact, Piastri's about to lap Lewis Hamilton. Piastri's about to lap Lewis Hamilton. Wow. Yeah, the medium should last that long. But Russell is out on softs, which is still a little bit borderline. 36. I mean, you could do 36 if there's a safety car, maybe. But I don't know. He's gonna. There's no other alternative, really. He's got to just go as long as he possibly can, and that's what Piastri's doing. Go maybe. If Piastri can do another 6 laps on his current medium tyres, he'll put on a set of softs, go to the end of the race reasonably comfortably. It will still be tough in terms of tyre management, but given that the track temperature is 30 degrees Celsius and we're not getting too much sliding around from the drivers and they aren't complaining too much about the tyres over the radio, it will be okay. Max, however, is now... This is it. Max is going to the end of the race. Where is he going to finish? He's currently in 10th position. We are at the exact halfway point of the race. 36 laps have been completed. 36 laps remain. Max Verstappen has gone from 19th up into 10th. Where will he finish the race? He's just gone purple in the first sector. Who is your driver of the day? I'm going to have to go with... Let's see... I was about to say Nico Hülkenberg, but I think Hülkenberg, after he comes into the pits, is going to get dropped quite far down the pack. He's going to get dropped, down to 12th or 13th or something. So, I don't know. Max has made some great progress. He's up 9 positions. Who else would I say has done a pretty good job? I don't really know. Behrman's doing a pretty good job, considering that he is there on merit. This is pure pace here from Oliver Behrman, and he's now he's in a battle with George Russell. We'll see if he can defend against him. Russell's got DRS. Down the straight they go in towards turn 4. Russell down the inside, sends a move. Can he make it stick on those fresh softs? Yes, he can. And Behrman loses the position to George Russell. Russell up into 4th, Behrman into 5th. I think Behrman's still doing a pretty solid job, to be honest. Max up into P8, he's overtaken Liam Lawson. Next up is Pierre Gasly. He overtook Franco Colapinto with relative ease. Gasly should be not too different. Okay. Kimi and Behrman are great this week. Yeah, but Kimi Antonelli, outperforming George Russell by, what's that, 10 seconds now? That's great. Incredible that Antonelli's doing that. So we'll see how it goes. Max is looks reasonably impatient here behind Pierre Gasly, taking all which different lines, trying to get ahead of him. Goes through turn number 12, right on his tail, super smooth on the power. And, he's tucked in under the rear wing of the Alpine. The Alpine does have DRS from the Racing Bull ahead of him, but it doesn't stop Max Verstappen. It's a side-by-side drag race, Honda versus Alpine power, and we all know who wins that race. Down the inside goes Max Verstappen, P6 for the Flying Dutchman, and next up is Ollie Behrman as Isaac Hadjar dives into the pit lane. Yeah, I mean, was it 2 laps ago that I said Max was on... it was 2 laps ago I said Max was in P10. Where is he going to end up? And he's already up into 6th position. Great job there by Max. But the gap to Oscar Piastri, the gap to Lando Norris is still quite sizable. 34 laps remain. The gap between Verstappen and Norris is looking like it's approximately, 24 seconds, 25 seconds. So... yeah, it's going to be tough there, isn't it, for Max if he wants to get close to Norris, and that's going to put a big stopper in his championship chances. Piastri into the pits. He has to serve a 10-second time penalty. Do not do what Yuki Tsunoda did, and, get yourself an extra 10-second time penalty. McLaren are waiting, and they are waiting, and 10 seconds feels like an absolute eternity. They put him on a set of soft tyres. He leaves the pit box, and it is a 13.5-second stop. 10 seconds from the pits, 10 seconds from the penalty, 3.5 seconds from the pit stop. Lewis Hamilton comes into the pits. Lewis Hamilton is retiring from the race. Very, very unfortunate for him. It's a double Ferrari DNF, and yeah, he's just come over the radio. Thanks. It wasn't our weekend. Haven't got much longer. Wait, did Hamilton just say it hasn't got much longer? Hamilton just cannot wait for the end of the season. Oh my goodness me. Hamilton is very much done. Piastri comes out of the pits. He gets dropped into 8th position with a fresh set of soft tyres. He's got to overtake Lawson and Gasly in the same way that Verstappen did. He's also got to try and overtake Max Verstappen on pure pace. And Lando Norris has probably got an extra pit stop to do, and so does George Russell, and maybe does Antonelli as well. Look at this. I mean, Antonelli is going to have to do 50 laps on medium tyres. It could be done, but it's going to be a stretch. Let's see, actually. Folks, what do you think? Do you think Norris, Antonelli and Russell, these drivers pitted quite early on relative to the tyres that they're currently on, are they going to do an extra pit stop, or are they just going to try and hang it out there and wait? Because they've got quite a big lead, so they can afford to drive a little bit slower. They can afford to do a bit of lifting and coasting, not put too much load into the tyres. So does it make sense that they are going to do a 2-stop, or do you think they'll hang it out there on a 1? Yeah, Russell probably has to. Norris probably has to as well. I mean, what would that be? 44 laps on a set of soft tyres? Like, that does not compute. That's nearly double. That would be double of what nearly everyone else has done. So, surely he's coming into the pits. All right, Pierre Gasly into the pits as well. And, Pierre Gasly's done 21 laps on the softs, now 21 laps on the mediums, and now he's put on another set of medium tyres. Piastri has successfully served his 10-second time penalty, so there's no penalty heading Piastri's way now for a wrong penalty, a wrong time penalty situation like Sonoda. Yeah, really fumbling my words a little bit today. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys are enjoying. We've got 44,000 people tuning into the live stream. Folks, if you could smash that like button, it would be very much appreciated. And hopefully we can get our way towards 213,000 subscribers. I don't know how I muddled up those numbers, but yeah, we're about 900 subscribers away. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure to do so. I also think I can donate some channel memberships. Let's see if I can donate that. Oh yeah, I can. I can gift some channel memberships. So there we go. We're going to have 5 new channel members and another 5 new channel members. Brilliant. And anyone that is a channel member, very much is appreciated. We've got nearly 130 now channel members, all supporting the channel, allowing me to do this whole thing, which is really, really fantastic. So big shout out to you guys, and also big shout out to Surfshark VPN that sponsored the stream. If you do want to watch the Formula 1 coverage for only $2 a month, it's Surfshark VPN using the link in the description. You go onto Google, you search Austrian VPN, and you go search ORF. After you've done that, all right. Brilliant. Also, folks, if you subscribe and type a message into chat, I think that automatically activates you into getting potentially selected for the next time I do a giveaway. So, yeah, I think I might be able to do some more as well. So if you guys do want to potentially win a channel membership, all you've got to do is press the subscribe button, wait 1 minute, then type a message in chat, and then we'll see. So, okay. All right. Anyway, let's continue on with the race here. And up in the lead, we've got Lando Norris, who is 7 seconds ahead of Kimi Antonelli. And big thing here, Piastri's made some progress. He's got ahead of Lawson and everything. He is now 5 seconds back from Max Verstappen. And if Norris was to come into the pits, which most likely he is going to come into the pits, right? Because let's be real, he's not getting it to the end on those soft tyres. He will come out just behind Max Verstappen, but 5 seconds ahead of Oscar Piastri. So Piastri's aim now is this gap that he sees here, 25 seconds. He needs to get that down as much as he possibly can, because Norris, even if it's, let's say, 20 seconds, the drivers lose 21 seconds in the pit lane. So let's say the gap is 20 seconds. Norris will come out 1 second behind him. He'll be out on fresh tyres and he'll get DRS and just breeze right past him. So he cannot let that happen. Piastri has to bring that 25-second gap, and that's now down to 24 and a half, is... well, he's going to try to bring that to maybe 17, 16. At that point, he might be able to defend, but let's wait and see. Orphan, thanks for the donation. Can Max go to the end on these tyres and win? He's gaining like crazy on Lando at the moment. Max can go to the end. I would like to confirm, folks, Max can go to the end. Look at the lap times. 13.6 for Max Verstappen, 13.3 for Oscar Piastri. Lando Norris, a 14.5. Piastri, 1.2 seconds quicker than Lando Norris on the previous lap. That's how much Lando Norris's tyres have worn out, and they're only 10 laps older than Piastri's tyres. So, yeah, it's going to be a really, really tough one for Norris to make it to the end of the race. He most likely won't. He'll have to come into the pits and have to re-overtake his championship rival, which will get very, very spicy indeed. There's no way Oscar Piastri makes it an easy battle for Norris. He's going to force him off the track, squeeze him right in towards the wall. Like, this is going to be a mega one, so be sure, well, don't miss it. Thanks, Krish, for joining the channel membership. Very much is appreciated. We've got more and more people. If anyone that is interested, it's only $1, €1, £1, whatever currency it is. It's like the lowest amount that I could set it to. So, yeah, if you guys do want to help out the channel, then go ahead and become a channel member. Did Piastri owe his service penalty? Indeed, he did. Thor Gempor, thanks for joining the channel member. Okay, so... let's see, who's within DRS range of who? We've got Sainz getting close to Gasly, we've got Hadjar getting close to Colapinto, and we had a slow pit stop there for Ollie Behrman, 3.9 seconds, not the end of the world, but he is down in 11th position. And, well, it isn't the end of the world, but look at that gap. If he was 2 seconds, maybe 1 second, 2 seconds quicker, then he would have come out probably ahead of Alonso, and, well, he wouldn't be stuck behind him right now, because Alonso is pretty good at defending, and since both of them might be going to the end of the race on these tyres, Alonso is probably going to put up a big fight. All right. Here we go, then. What else have we got going on? Let's keep an eye out on this. Ooh, Lando, if you have a 10th, that wouldn't affect stint lengths, we'll take it. So I think what they're telling Lando is if you can pick up the pace by a 10th, it's not going to affect our tyre wears too much. And Lando Norris has replied saying, yep, difficult. This is me as something. That's clearly a mistranslation of what Norris has said, but yeah. Again, on the previous lap, Piastri gains 1.2 seconds, and the gap that was 25 seconds between Norris and Piastri is now down to 21. So gaining lots of time there is Oscar Piastri. Twiffer, thanks for joining the channel membership. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Drink some water, indeed I will. Folks, remember to stay hydrated, it's pretty important. I'm going to have some water. Give me a sec. Okay. I'm going to buy a shoe and eat it if Alonso makes it to the end on those tyres. There's no way it's happening unless it's a safety car. Well, never count out Fernando Alonso. He did let Ollie Behrman get by. I think Behrman was just... he was on significantly fresher tyres. It wasn't a battle worth fighting. But Alonso, looks like he's going to try. He's going to try and make it to the end. We'll see if he can. Piastri's saying he doesn't trust the strategy. Well, Piastri's got to do what he can. In this situation, he's got a 10-second time penalty. If he hadn't got that 10-second time penalty, where would he be? He would be about where Russell is right now, like 10 seconds up the road. And he would... I definitely think the one stop is quicker than the two stop. Norris has done the wrong thing here, but... we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Piastri's also closing up on Max, which will be a pretty... well, it's pretty problematic because Max isn't going to let Piastri by easily, and Piastri's going to lose a lot of time to Max Verstappen. However, let's imagine in a hypothetical scenario, okay, drivers in first, second, third, so Norris, Antonelli, and Russell all come into the pits. We have Verstappen in the lead of the race, Piastri in second, and Norris in third after the pit stops, Piastri could very well sit in Verstappen's DRS and then defend against his teammate because he gets DRS. That is, Verstappen and Piastri could work together to gain points on Lando Norris, and both of them are very much intelligent enough to do that strategy-wise. Both drivers have a lot of mental capacity while driving to be able to understand that if we two work together, we'll be able to hold off Lando Norris. Because if Norris pits now, he comes out behind both Verstappen and Piastri. That could work, and it helps out Max Verstappen, it helps out Oscar Piastri. The only person that loses out is Lando Norris, but he's on the wrong strategy, so who knows? Franco fastest lap? Yes. Franco Colapinto has just had a fastest lap of the race on a fresh set of medium tyres. He's got a whole bunch of clean air. He goes nearly 2 seconds quicker than Lando Norris on that previous lap. Incredible lap from Franco Colapinto. And he's going to make it to the end of the race on those medium tyres, sorry. Fernando Alonso comes into the pits. Looks like those medium tyres weren't going to work. So whoever typed in the chat saying that you're going to buy a shoe and eat it, looks like you're not going to have to eat a shoe, because Alonso does come into the pits after 24 laps on those medium tyres. Let's actually have a look. What is the most number of laps anyone has done on a set of mediums? So Ocon has currently done 38 laps, and Russell has done 38 laps as well. Piastri has also done 38 laps. So that's the most we've ever seen out of a set of medium tyres this race. And, well, Antonelli is not going to get 50 laps. If Russell, Piastri can only get 38, Antonelli, I don't think he's going to get 50. Tabalo Sosana, thanks for joining the channel membership. Really is appreciated. Alex Albon 41. Why is everyone typing Albon 41? 4.1. Albon is 41 seconds behind the leaders, yes. Oh, Albon did 41. Oh, apologies. I see. Yeah, I'm clearly blind. I should probably get my glasses. Where did I even put them? I don't even know where my glasses are. Yeah, apologies for the mistake there. But even then, 41 laps is still a bit long, and I don't know if Antonelli's clearly not, because Antonelli's just come into the pit. So I guess I was correct, even though I can't read numbers. Okie doke, so Antonelli pits, comes out into 6th position on a fresh set of medium tyres. All right then, and gap between Norris and Piastri is now down to 19 seconds. So if Norris comes into the pits, he's going to come out 2 seconds behind Piastri, and we'll see if he can get that overtake done. George Russell comes into the pit lane as well. Max Verstappen is in a legitimate P2. I've got to tell you guys, it is how this has happened, and oh my God, I get McLaren have sort of messed up the strategy here by going for a 2-stop, but Max is in a legitimate P2. Russell, 2.3 second stop. How's Max in P3? Please explain. Just incredible pace, and a new engine, and a new setup, and some really good driving, and McLaren messing up Lando Norris' strategy. Ben, thanks for joining the channel membership. Really is appreciated. Oliver Behrman battling away with Nico Hulkenberg. Just gets ahead of him, actually, as they go towards turn number 4. And really, really nice there. Super, super fantastic battle between those two. But Behrman has the DRS, swoops around the outside, and gets ahead of the Hulk. 7th place for Ollie Behrman. And Max also, by the way, guys, Max had a puncture. He had to come into the pits for an extra pit stop after getting a puncture. Sort of a blessing in disguise, to be honest, because the ideal strategy in the race would have been medium to medium. That's the way the tyres have worked out today. The soft tyres just aren't as durable, and the best strategy would have been medium to medium, but the drivers, of course, can't do that because of the rule that the FIA has set that you have to have 2 different tyre compounds. But clearly, by the little bit of the puncture that he had, and he did 7 laps at the start of the race on some hards, it's worked out in his favour. Yuki tow. What's Yuki? Oh, is Yuki going to give Max a tow? Well, maybe. We'll see what happens there. But Tsunoda has now served his 10-second time penalty correctly this time, folks. Correctly. And no more penalties awarded for Tsunoda. Max for the win. If he gets this, I will donate five memberships. Well, thank you very much, Rekat. Even if he doesn't win, thanks for the donation. And yeah, let's see. Have you got any more drivers? Anyone else in the chat that wants to put some bets in? Who's going to be winning this race? 15 seconds is the gap between Norris and Verstappen. Once Norris comes into the pits, he's going to be 20. He comes into the pits right now. Lando Norris is into the pit lane. He's going to come out 3 seconds back from Oscar Piastri and come out 7 seconds back from Max Verstappen. Okay, folks, this is it. Game on, ladies and gentlemen. 21 laps of racing and the top 3 are converging upon each other for a battle of the ages. Okay. Yuki Tsunoda, fastest lap of the race. If he does slow down, he could give Max a tow and help him out a little bit. Piastri, there he goes. And what tyres is it going to be for Lando Norris? It's a set of mediums. Piastri is on 14-lap-old medium tyres, doing a 13.8. And Lando Norris is, well, out on a fresh set of mediums. Orfen 189, Max is going faster than Piastri. Yeah, Max has been holding a pretty consistent gap to Piastri, to be honest. And thanks for the donation. Wildcard win, Antonelli. Thanks for the donation there, Jedi Fire. Antonelli, I mean, the top 3 are going to have to crash out, aren't they? Because I don't think Antonelli's got the pace to keep up. But let's see. Norris, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. McLaren have now given themselves a monumental task. Pull off 2 overtakes against Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen, your 2 championship rivals, in 21 laps of racing. There are 80 kilometers to go. They've come in with the radio to Max. Something I didn't expect Dad say, Max, at the end of the pit lane earlier. You are now the race leader. Max comes over the radio, says, not bad. Wait, what? Piastri's into the pits. Oh, we thought we were going to get a battle between these two. But maybe not. We're just going to get a battle. It's Norris versus Verstappen. No battle between Piastri and Norris. It's just going to be Norris versus Verstappen. 8 seconds is the gap. Rufus, thanks for the €5 donation. What's the minimum points Max needs to stay in the championship running? Well, Max can probably technically DNF this race and still be in the championship runnings. But let's bring up the standings, folks. Let me bring up the standings because this is getting important now. Championship predictions. Okay, so over here, let's just have the standings. You can see Verstappen will gain 25 points if it finishes this way, and Norris will gain 18. So Verstappen will gain 7 points on Lando Norris, bringing the gap down to 32 points. It's currently 39. It'll go down to 32 with a sprint race and 2 actual races left to go. That is doable. It's going to be tough, but doable. So yeah, if Max loses this now, that point gap goes from 39 to 46. And at that point, with 46 points to gain in 3 races, that's not going to happen. So he basically, to be realistic about things, Max is going to have to win this race to keep his championship hopes alive. Okay. All right, Max is cooking indeed. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We've got 46,000 people. Thank you everyone for tuning in. The channel is just getting bigger and bigger. We're getting close to 213,000 subscribers as well. Hope you are all enjoying the coverage. And yeah, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, do all the good stuff. This race is about to get incredible. Who's your driver of the day? I mean, if you don't vote for Max Verstappen, I will severely disagree with you guys. Behrman's done a great job there in 6th position, so is Liam Lawson. But Max Verstappen from pit lane to P1, I mean, oh my God. He's not got P1 just yet, though. He's got 19 laps remaining. Let's look at the lap times, okay? Let's look at the numbers. On the previous lap, Lando Norris goes 0.4 of a second quicker than Max Verstappen, 0.4 of a second. So let's assume that he does this for every single lap right till the end of the race. He is going to gain, I'm going to have to get my calculator out for this one. Probably should. He's going to gain, I think, 8 seconds? Yeah, he's going to gain 8 seconds on Lando Norris. Lando Norris will gain 8 seconds on Max Verstappen if he keeps this pace up right till the end of the race. The gap currently is 7 seconds. So it is forecast to be a final lap battle, or the final few laps battle, Lando Norris versus Max Verstappen. Right, we're going to have a poll here. We've got to have a poll. Max or Norris? Who's it going to be? Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously there'll be dirty air and other things to consider, but we'll figure all of that stuff out. Max will have 7-lap older tyres as well. That will be something to take into account. But we're getting 80% Max Verstappen, 20% Lando Norris. Well, I think a lot of people have faith in Max Verstappen. After the performances that he's pulled off on so many occasions, we'll see how it goes. Tsunoda is up there ahead of Max. He is quite a few seconds up ahead. It would be quite catastrophic to his race to slow down and to give Max Verstappen a tow. However, Tsunoda's also in last place, so it can't really get... Wait, Max has come into the pits? What? Why have you just given him a free race win? What are you doing? What? Why have they done this? They've not... He could have done an extra 17 laps on these tyres. Albon had done 41 laps. They were just asking Max to do 37. So Max is now into the pits on a set of soft tyres, trying to go to the... What? What is... Like, I mean, look, Piastri has just had a fastest lap of the race, and he's going to get ahead of Liam Lawson imminently, but that makes no sense whatsoever. We're going aggressive. Well, let's see. This is going to have to be, what's it, 1999 Michael Schumacher race strategy. I think in that race, Schumacher got told over the radio, you need to close a 19-second gap in 25 laps. We're going to need every single lap to be a qualifying lap for us to win this race. That's literally what they're going to tell Max Verstappen now. Look, they've just told him 17 laps. The gap is 14 seconds, 17 laps to go. Max Verstappen has got to do a qualifying lap every single lap if he wants to have any hope of beating Lando Norris to this race win. It's been done before. Schumacher's done it in 1999 with Ross Brawn as his strategist. We've got Hannah Schmidt as the Red Bull strategist. Max has just gone purple in the middle sector, going 4/10 quicker than Colapinto. Mega middle sector there from Max Verstappen. And, well, let's see if he can do it. He's also going to have to overtake Russell and Antonelli on pure pace. That shouldn't be an issue, to be honest, because Max will be on the softs. Russell and Antonelli are on the mediums. But... okay, well, let's do I'm going to run the poll again because I think we're just going to have... because I think the answers are going to be vastly different now. Max versus Norris, who wins? Start the poll. Because currently... before it was 80-20 to Max Verstappen. And now let's have a look. Can Max put together flat qualifying lap after qualifying lap after qualifying lap? Antonelli has probably been told over the radio that Max Verstappen is fast approaching. Get ready to feel the wrath of Max. Right, let's see. It's now 50-50. 50% of people think that Max will be able to pull off 15 qualifying laps consecutively to catch up to Lando Norris. I mean, look at that gap. It was 14 seconds before. It's now down to 12.6 already. And he's got a lot of clean air as well. Norris has also got a lot of clean air. It's a fastest lap of the race. Fastest lap number 1. I think we're going to have to start counting these ones. Number 1 fastest lap for Max Verstappen, a 12.4. Okay. Brilliant. This is getting very, very exciting. 47,000 people tuned into the live stream, folks. Thank you all for tuning in. The race in Las Vegas is happening in 2 weeks' time. Then we've got a triple header. Las Vegas, then Qatar, which is a sprint race, and then Abu Dhabi, of course, as the final race of the season. Hope to see all of you there. This championship is really hotting up now, and especially if Max can close that gap up. Down to 12.2, a few seconds later. Now Tsunoda can slow down Norris. I mean, Tsunoda's still very far away to slowing down Norris, but I guess if Tsunoda comes into the pits, he could try slowing down. Okay, Max has said it's been fairly vulnerable. We have nothing to lose. So basically, they're saying maximum attack, full push, no risk. Time to get going. He has to. Yeah, if Max wants to win this race, he has to. It looks like that Max is gonna catch Russell in 3 laps. Like that, the gap is currently 3.5 seconds, but with the way that Max is going, on the previous lap, 1 full second faster. And well, here comes the Flying Dutchman. Someone's just typed in the chat, if he completes the comeback, I'm going bald. Well, we're going to have to hold you to that one, aren't we? Okay. Thanks everyone for tuning in, by the way. We are getting pretty close to 8,000 likes. We're only 200 subscribers away, so be sure to hit the subscribe button. Please update on the rain weather. There looks like there's no rain, folks. I'd love to see some rain arriving right now, but it looks unlikely. The clouds are getting lighter and lighter. Okay. Here we go. Lap number 58 of 71. Right, track temperature 31 degrees. It's good conditions for the soft tyres. This is what the soft tyres want. And, well, Max Verstappen has got exactly that. Lando Norris on the previous lap, he picks up the pace a little bit, but he's still 0.8 of a second slower than Max Verstappen. 0.8 of a second, is that going to be enough per lap for Max to close up? It is, but he's got the roadblock of Kimi Antonelli and George Russell in the way. That is the problem. And Piastri also is... I don't know why they pitted Piastri. I mean, like, he could have gone to the end on the softs. It would have been a struggle, but staying ahead of Antonelli and Russell could have been done. In this situation, he's never going to catch up to those two. 15 positions gained. Yeah, honestly, still absolutely mental that he's just done that one. If Piastri finishes in P10, that gives him 10 points in the championship. Norris, if he finishes in P1, that's 25 points in the championship. That will be a 15-point lead that Norris gains out of this one. So it's already 9 points. 9 plus 15, 26 points. Oh, sorry, 24 points will be the gap between the drivers in P1 and P2 if it stays this way. So Piastri's got to get a move on if he wants to win this championship. Yuki crash, bring out the safety car, and then Max will win. Look, we'll see what happens. P2 is on here, Max, assuming you can control the degradation. That's what they've told to Max Verstappen. Well, look, he's 1.8 seconds behind George Russell. Like, I think P3 is very much on. P2 also. P1 a bit off into the distance. It's just, I don't know why Piastri came into the pit. So Verstappen as well, like, I guess the strategist probably knows something that I don't know, and that's why they made the pit stop. I'm not going to assume that they're pretty stupid. I'm sure they fly all around the world. They understand the strategy a little bit better than I do. But I'd love to get an explanation, to be honest. I think Red Bull will probably post something, or someone will figure out why. All right. It's Plan C for combat, ladies and gentlemen. Plan C for combat for Max Verstappen. 1.4 seconds is the gap between himself and George Russell. He's on fresh softs. Russell's on used mediums. This is 4th position. We know how these two drivers battle it out on track. It gets very fierce and feisty very quickly. Alex Albon has just set a fastest lap of a race on a fresh set of medium tyres. Okay. Russell will defend. Oh, yeah, Russell's definitely defending. Russell is not going to just say, bye, Max, you can win this one. Like, Russell is going to hold him up as much as he can. And, yeah, I mean, Russell, at this current moment in time, is in his, his average Russell meme, which is does nothing, P3 podium somehow. Because Russell hasn't really done much, to be honest. He's made some overtakes at the start of the race, which we didn't even see. And here he is in P3. So we'll see if he holds up Max Verstappen or if he doesn't. Okay, but looks like nearly everyone has done a two-stop, with the exception of Liam Lawson and Nico Hülkenberg. So maybe it was an all-right strategy. We'll see. With 11 laps left to go, it's unlikely that either of them are going to kind of come into the pits. And also, they've got quite a big gap behind them. So Hülkenberg gained 2 places overall using the one-stop. So maybe it was the better way forward. Who knows? Russell, let Max by. I'll slip you a 20. I think Russell cares about a P3 a little bit more than a £20 note. All right, DRS activated for Max Verstappen. Here he goes down the back straight in towards turn number 1. He's too far back. Too far back. He may send a lunge down the inside, but Russell will close the door on him. 10 laps to go, folks. 10 laps to go. Max has got a 10-second gap to close up to Lando Norris, but also 2 drivers to overtake. Here he comes then. Yeah, can't get the overtake done into turn number 4. So this is going to have to be the next lap now. He's going to push George Russell through the middle sector. That's going to be Max's strategy. Push him because he needs some time. He needs to gain some time ASAP. And they go through turns number 7 and 8, and yeah, sort of, taking slightly different lines, looking for a little bit of clean air, and well, trying to get some good drive out of these corners. All right, he's literally so close to the back of him, you can barely see him on the GPS. He's half a second back now from George Russell as they head towards turn number 12. That's half a second closer than it was on the previous lap. This should be close enough, unless Russell deploys absolutely every single ounce of battery that he has got available to him. The DRS is open for Max Verstappen. They're going down the main straight, and Russell already to the inside. Verstappen tries to go around the outside. He does so cleanly. No contact between the two. Max Verstappen up into second position. See you later, says. That's what he says to George Russell. Russell, is he going to try and slipstream him down in towards turn 4? He is going to try, but he's not going to be able to make it work. Max darts out of the way to ensure Russell can't get too much of a slipstream, and it's P3 for Max Verstappen. Next up, Kimi Antonelli, 2.6 seconds up the road. Okay. Max should have stayed out. Yeah, I mean, okay, let's have a look. I'm going to ask stay out or pit as a poll, and then let me know what you guys think. Stay out or pit, and then you guys can vote in that one. But yeah, Russell's lost DRS already, and now Antonelli is, well, looking in his mirrors. He's seeing that Red Bull chase him down, and to be honest, it's one of the scariest sights to see, isn't it? You see a Max Verstappen in a Red Bull at Interlagos. If it was raining, it'd be even more scary, but if it was raining, you also wouldn't be able to see him because of all of the spray. So Antonelli's got this Red Bull in his mirrors now, and he's looking to chase him down. Piastri, is he getting close to George Russell? He is. Piastri, for his championship's sake, he also has to overtake Russell and Antonelli. We'll see if it's possible. 8 laps left to go, but Piastri's pace is not as good as Verstappen's is right now. Will Max do it again? Well, he's closing up on Antonelli slowly but surely. I'm sure he used quite a bit of overtake button to actually get the overtake done on Russell, so he's going to have to recharge that ever so slightly. But 8 laps remain. The gap between Norris and Verstappen, 10 seconds. It was 10 seconds 2 laps ago. It's still 10 seconds. Norris is pulling out the gap while Verstappen is too busy trying to overtake the Mercedes drivers. All right. Yeah, here we go then. Lap 64 of 71. 78% of people think that we should have that they should have stayed out. Well, thanks for your votes. I guess it's a bit of a shame, really. Also, I'd like to do a big shout out to all of the people that have become a channel member. I haven't been able to read everyone's name out, but very much is appreciated. We've got 50,000 people tuned into live stream. Very much is appreciated, folks. Hope you are all enjoying the coverage. And I look forward to commentating to you guys for the next race out in Las Vegas. It's going to be absolutely mega. Okay. Max's tyres were wet, according to the radio. Yeah, he did go ever so slightly offline when he was overtaking George Russell after he'd overtaken George Russell to try and make sure that Russell doesn't slipstream back past him, and there was a little bit of water there, so that might have been what he was talking about, but that would have been cleared up very, very soon. He's gained half a second on Antonelli. Antonelli's still got some pace left in the bank. He will have known that Max was approaching, and unfortunately Russell didn't hold him up for very long, and now Antonelli has got to face the wrath of Max Verstappen. Weather report, it's dry, folks, it's dry. 7 laps to go. Thank you all for tuning in, by the way. We are, 64 subscribers away, 65 subscribers away from our from 213k. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Also be sure to hit the like button so we can reach 8,000 likes. That would be mega. And we have got 6 laps remaining in this race. Hulkenberg trying to overtake Lawson. We have got Gasly trying to overtake Hadjar. And we have got Ocon trying to overtake Sainz. And then up at the front, Max Verstappen has taken another half a second chunk out of Kimi Antonelli. 6 laps to go, folks. 6 laps to go. All right. Here comes Nico Hulkenberg on Liam Lawson. What is he going to do? trying to go round, well, he's trying to go down the inside here, but Lawson's going to defend it in towards turn 1. Hulkenberg gets very, very close, unable to get past. He's trying to try and slingshot past him now in towards turn number 4. Again, he gets the DRS. Going down towards turn number 4, Hulkenberg tucked right in. Lawson goes to the inside. Hulkenberg around the outside. He goes super late on the brakes. Does he get the move done? Lawson defending like a champ here. And Hulkenberg side by side again. In towards turn 6. They have the inside line and Hulkenberg has to back out of that one. All right. Hulkenberg is also on 32 lap old soft tyres. That is incredible. But with that little squabble that he's just had with Lawson, he has attracted the attention of Isaac Hadjar behind him, who's on medium tyres that are 28 laps old. Okay, they've come over the radio to Kimi to just say, okay, we'll leave you to it. So Verstappen has just been left to it now to stay ahead. Well, to try and... Antonelli's been left to it. Verstappen, 1.1 seconds is the gap. 5 laps to go. It's getting close to the DRS window now. Very, very close to the DRS window. Oliver Behrman, P6. Incredible job from him as well. Do have to say. Very, very nice. Okie dokes. Can you pull up the World Driver standings? Indeed, I will. I mean, I think Verstappen is going to overtake Antonelli, so I think that those standings are going to change a little bit. But as of right now, Norris 390 points, Piastri 366, and Max Verstappen 341. Piastri is, though, going to try and overtake Russell, and Verstappen is going to try and overtake Antonelli. So let's see how that goes there. Verstappen is within DRS range. He exits turn number 12, and Antonelli gets a good exit. So does Verstappen, but Verstappen has got the DRS now. He's going to gain a free 0.4 of a second. That's how powerful the slipstream and the DRS is going down the straight in towards turn 1. He'll still be a little bit too far back to actually make the move into turn 1. Yeah, there we go. A little bit too far back, but I think on lap number 69 of 71, Max Verstappen will be making an overtake. And Piastri is going to do the same, I think. Piastri's going to try at least. He's 1.1 seconds off the back of Russell. This is critical for his championship to get an overtake on Russell. But yeah, Piastri hasn't finished higher than 5th position in the last 2 months, I think. So what can I say? F1 Gamer, thanks for the hard work you put into the streams. Well, thank you all for tuning in. You know, it's a really big pleasure to commentate you guys. And yeah, hope you are all enjoying the coverage. And folks, if you do have any feedback to try and make my commentary better, any things that I should change on the stream, you know, maybe here and there, then do let me know and I will try and improve. And I do know that I say yeah and so yeah quite often, and I do try and notice that, but it is what it is. I'm not a professional commentator, to say the least. All right, here comes Max Verstappen then. On the second lap running, he is still 9/10 back. Antonelli has enough pace in the middle sector. He can just barely hang on. And, well, that's making it very, very difficult for Verstappen to get by. And Piastri has now got DRS on George Russell as well. The gap is half a second. So this was a very similar scenario to like 4 laps ago, where Max was trying to overtake George Russell. So let's see if Piastri can pull off the same. Seems like there's a crazy battle for 7th. Yeah, I mean, they're just making this big old train. Lawson, get on the DRS train for Liam Lawson. You've got Hulkenberg behind, then Hadjar, then Gasly, then Ocon, and Albon is about to join the train as well. Okay, here we go then. Let's look at Max Verstappen. The gap, again, 0.7 of a second. Antonelli is able to hang on these soft tyres after 14 laps of attacking, pushing really hard, being stuck in Russell's DRS and dirty air for a little bit. Max's tyres are starting to go off. He doesn't have the same pace difference that he did when he overtook George Russell. And, well, is he going to be able to close up on Kimi Antonelli? Will it be enough? He is 1/10 closer than he was on the previous occasion, but 1/10 isn't going to cut it. He looks to the inside to try and send a ridiculous dive bomb, but he decides better of it. And in towards turns number 2 and 3 through the center S, and he's again too far back. We are on the penultimate lap of the race here, ladies and gentlemen. It's now or never. Well, I guess next lap is technically now or never, but it's got to be done. It has got to be done. Max looks to the inside at turn number 4, but still cannot get a move to happen. It's a double DNF for Ferrari. Anyone that's just tuning in, Leclerc had contact with Piastri and Antonelli and had to retire from the race through no fault of his own. Hamilton had contact with Sainz and Colapinto and had to retire through no fault of his own. It is your average Ferrari weekend. Very, very unfortunate to say the least. Okay, well, this is it, folks. This is Max Verstappen's final attempt as he heads towards turn number 1 for the last time of this race. We're on the penultimate lap, but we'll start the final lap very, very shortly. And the gap as they exit turn number 12 is the all-important gap. It is 0.8 of a second, 0.9 of a second. That is too far back. Both drivers will be using every little bit of battery that they've got. Max Verstappen is on party mode. He's got a brand new power unit, but is it enough? We're on the final lap of the race. He looks to the inside, trying to distract Anthony, trying to force a mistake out of him, but Antonelli is smooth sailing from him. 0.7 is the gap as they exit the center S, and that is going to be too far back for Max to make a lunge. Will he try a lunge? Let's wait and see. He does not try a lunge. The only way he can win this race is if it's a drag race to the finish. Oscar Piastri trying to overtake George Russell further behind him. Unfortunately, that is not going to happen either. Oscar Piastri in 5th position. Very, very unfortunate for his championship. Lando Norris, however, he is making his way through the middle sector for the final time. We're getting so many messages over the radio saying overtake available, use all of the battery that you can. Hadjar gets up into 7th position ahead of Liam Lawson, and quite a few battles going on there down in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. But here we go then. So Lando Norris comes out of the final corner. What a drive from pole to P1. Incredible from Lando Norris. Extends his championship lead again. Things are going up and up and up for him. Max Verstappen has got DRS for the final occasion. It's a drag race, but he loses out in the end. Kimi Antonelli P2, Max Verstappen P3, George Russell P4, Oscar Piastri P5. This is bad for his championship, to be honest. Let's have a look at the standings. 390 points for Lando Norris, 366 for Oscar Piastri. That is a points gap of 24 points, and Max Verstappen is on 341 points. He is now 50. It's over for Max, to be honest. What is that? 49 points. 49 points to Max Verstappen. Further back, let's just have a quick look at the battle between 7th, 8th and 9th. We got Lawson, then Hadjar, then Hulkenberg, big old DRS train, and they come across the line. Gasly scores a point yet again at Sao Paulo. Brilliant job there, scoring some more points for the Alpine team. Good to see from Pierre Gasly. And that is the end of the race, ladies and gents. Max is technically, mathematically still in the championship fight. However, if I'm going to be realistic and honest with you guys, with 3 laps remaining, Las Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi, Max Verstappen, is he going to close a 49-point gap? I don't know. Still, a sensational drive from pit lane to the podium for Max Verstappen. Liam Lawson did 51 laps on medium tyres. This is what I was saying. Lawson, he did 51 laps on mediums. So, 52 laps on mediums. So, surely Max could have just stuck it out in the end. And same thing for Piastri. Would have had a much better chance of winning this race. The pit stop was most certainly a mistake. But, well, what can you do? You can't win every single day. Otherwise, it might have genuinely been pit lane to P1 for Max Verstappen. It would have been a bit borderline towards the end with Norris gaining, but, Max is pretty good at defending, so who knows. Okay, that is all from me, folks. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys this weekend. We've had a fantastic sprint race. In 2 weekends' time, we'll be in Las Vegas. The time zones are going to be a little bit awkward for a lot of people, to be honest with you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the stream. I'll take you over to the Las Vegas stream. So be sure to tune into that one. It's already live on the channel page. And if you could hit the like button and the reminder button on the Las Vegas stream, it goes a long way to helping out the channel and the YouTube algorithm. So, what was I going to do? Where's my webcam gone? Here we go. Yeah. So, I would, It'd very much be appreciated if you guys could hit the like button on the Vegas stream and tune into that one, even though the time zones might be a little bit difficult. But even if you can't tune in because the time zones are bad, then just hit the like button, hit the reminder button, and it really does help out the channel. I think that's all from me. I hope you guys have enjoyed the commentary, and yeah. Hope to see you all in 2 weeks' time for the race in Las Vegas. Quickly, for anyone that's just listening to this like a radio broadcast, Norris P1, Antonelli P2, Verstappen P3, Russell P4, Piastri 5, Behrman 6th, Lawson 7th, Hadjar 8th, Hulkenberg 9th, Gasly 10th, Albon 11th, Ocon 12th, Sainz 13th, Alonso 14th, Colapinto 15th, Stroll 16th, Tsunoda 17th, Hamilton, Leclerc, Bortoletto all DNF. The championship standings are there up on your screen, folks. And yeah, so I'm going to end the stream now. I'll take you over to the Las Vegas stream, and would mean so much if you guys do to hit the like button on that one. But that's all from me. Pavan Kumar, thanks for the donation. And yeah, hope you have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are in the world. I'm going to go have dinner, and I shall see you all in 2 weeks' time for the race in Las Vegas. Bye-bye, folks.